Welcome to this Sports Showcase event on Hartford TV. I am Ray Hrues, and I'm here with my broadcast partner, Greg Commandor. We are here for an early season, basically opening season football game between the host Fallston Cougars and the visiting Bel Air Bobcats. Before I go into the matchup and the coaching staff and so forth, I want to welcome my longtime friend, Greg Commandor, and see what he thinks about this matchup. So welcome, Greg.
Thanks, Ray. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Excited. It's a beautiful night, and traditionally the games between Fallston and Bel Air are close. And from what we've heard already in the preseason write-ups and talks with the coaches, looks like we'll hopefully have another close one tonight.
I hope so. So here we are getting ready for the national anthem, folks. Fallston's won the flip.
And I think they deferred, yeah.
So I always like to see if it's recording for the anthem or if the band's going to play it, which might be what's happening now. And sometimes we have singers, but always impressed with the talented musicians, something that I have no skill at, Greg.
They work just as hard. They're out there doing their camps and everything too, just like the athletes are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Outstanding job by the Fallston band. So, Greg, we have coaching for Bel Air. We have Eric Siegel, who I think you hired.
Yes, I did have the pleasure of hiring Eric 5 years ago, I believe.
And their principal is Rob DeLeva,
yep.
And then Craig Reddish is their AD. Eric Siegel's been coaching for 19 years and teaching social studies, which you used to teach. Said it's his 5th year as a head coach at Bel Air, 17-14 record. Now that seems like a low amount of games, but folks have to remember that we had maybe a year and a half skipped from COVID. They were 10-1 last year, Greg, and they won the UCBAC, and they won the first round of the playoff convincingly, 48-0 over Towson. Had a tough, close loss to state semifinalist Franklin, 17-7. That's quite a season.
Yeah, they had a great year. They were very senior heavy, so it's going to be interesting to see who steps up in the leadership role this year, because they did have so much seniors on the team last year.
So last year, Bel Air beat Fallston 20-13. The year before that, Fallston beat Bel Air 28-21, something close to that, a one-score game. So this is usually a good matchup.
Well, let's hope we have another good one tonight.
So we'll try to get who's kicking off here for us. I think it might be 55, and I'll have to see.
Number 6.
Oh, I'm looking in the wrong way here. So here also for Fallston, we have Keith Robinson coaching, and this is his 3rd season at Fallston, but his 26th overall. He's coached at Overly and Perry Hall. Got a quick, short kick there, and quick tackle. I really think they only got maybe a yard. How often do you see a squib kick like that?
They had to see something, the coaches, to do that right off the bat. That tells me a couple of things. One, they saw something on films either the past year, or if they saw him in a scrimmage, or 2, they might not want to kick it deep for fear of a return.
Right. So here on offense for Bel Air, we should have Patrick Sullivan lining up at quarterback, and they like to run a, I think they call it a spread offense, but I'm not sure. Okay, we had trouble with the exchange there. Got tackled for a loss there. That was JT Owanjinana. And Coach said we're going to be hearing that name a lot.
Yeah, he said JT's, and get used to saying that name because you're going to hear him all over the field. A little nervous, I think, on the first play, which is expected.
So it looks like we have second down and about 14 here. 4-yard loss. So that exchange, to the layman, they think that's easy. But timing for handoffs is even something I think the running backs and quarterbacks have to get a feel for with each other. Quick pass out to number 3.
He came all the way backfield.
Wow. Well, sometimes they say they fake out the cameraman. This time they faked out the play-by-play man, folks. Got about 5 yards out of that. So
there's a flag in the backfield, though.
Oh, man. That was number 3, Michael Graham. I didn't see quite who got in on the tackle.
Number 21, too. Was also in on a tackle.
Okay, so 21 should have been Owen Sellers. And, man, must have read that play right away and realized I have nothing here. To change directions that quick, Greg, that's impressive.
Yeah, and he ran a long way to get to 5 yards, but unfortunately now we have a flag, so we have to wait to see what the call is.
So I would imagine this is usually a hold, but I'm wondering on what side of the field the hold was initially, or as Michael's scrambling all the way, doing basically a 40-yard dash there across the field.
He did cover a lot of ground, that's for sure, to come all the way back.
Well, you and I both coach track and field, and I'd be recruiting that kid for the track team for sure. I see that speed right there.
And it called a hold. Drops him back another, because it's called from the point of where the hold was, so they're moving him back probably a loss of about additional 5 yards, which means he was holding downfield already.
So now we have basically, looks like about 2nd and 24.
Yeah, it's right around there. I'm waiting for the scoreboard to post it up.
It says to go 14, but it would be 24 because it's not including the other 10. So another pass out to the sideline. Wanting to get the ball in his hands again. So that pass was completed from Patrick Sullivan to Michael Graham.
And number 21 and number 5 again on the tackles.
Wow, I think we're going to see a lot of Owen Sellers there, and also number 5, Max Ruckert. We have 2 Ruckerts on the team, and Max is one of the 10th graders playing on this team. So that's pretty impressive to start on varsity as a 10th grader.
Yeah, Coach said he had, I think, 8 or 9 that are up there that he expected to contribute, especially some of them starting.
Mm-hmm. So now you pretty much feel like you have to pass, but, you know, I would get the ball on. Oh, there's something there. There had to be movement. But if it was movement, they would have called the play dead. Now, that's technically a first down for now, but we have to see what the call is. That was pass to Julian Horton. They seem to like that little lateral pass out to the side.
Just an extension of the running game. You already have them to the outside, and then you hope someone throws one block and that the receiver can make 1 or 2 people miss, just like he did on that play.
Mm-hmm. So if that's against Bel Air, which it looks like they're marking off, that they're hurting themselves with the penalties already, because that was a wonderful play right there. I can tell already that between the receivers and the running back here that Bel Air offense has some speed.
I didn't see what the official signaled because the other official was in the way, but I think it must have been a motion or a movement on the Bel Air.
So what I'm always wondering about was I thought certain plays were called dead at the line of scrimmage when it's jumping off sides or moving. So that might have been a legal procedure by...
Well, probably was a procedure by the offense, so then they let that play go on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then take the result of the play, and then whether you decline it or take it, obviously they declined it because it would have been a first down. I mean, they took it because it would have been a first down.
So they're doing a running play on the 3rd and forever, and he got a good 10-yard run there.
Safe call. Give your punter a good place to kick. We don't know. You know, one of the hardest things in the first game of the year is always special teams.
Yeah.
Snaps, whether it's extra point, long snap on the punt, so you're always a little nervous from the first time you bring out your special teams.
Well, let's see what the punter could do here, because field position is a very big part of the game, as you know. And for those of you that don't know Greg's background, he has much experience as a coach. Coached 9 years as the varsity coach at Joptown High School. Went to one state final and lost a tough game, and then they also won in 2003, I think it was, Greg?
2003, 20 years this year.
Wow.
I know. Making me old.
So I don't know if you get to keep up with the old players at all, and that's
we do. Yeah, we just actually had a get together because our great coach, assistant coach with me, Bill Leibel, retired. So we had a bunch of the kids together for his retirement.
I did see that. That was great. That was looked like it was number 2, I think, on the punt reception, Ryan Marini.
And number...
It looked like 5?
Yes, number 5 on the tackle.
Matt Smuckert got in there again.
No, 5 for Bel Air on the coverage.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. So 5 for Bel Air. Let me see who that would be, Greg, if he's in our...
He should be starting as a cornerback, I think, for Bel Air.
Yes, that's Jared Fletcher.
Okay.
And that ball didn't travel a long distance, but I think their intent was hang time.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he caught that, he was tackled.
Yeah, good coverage. Here we go, no huddle right off the bat, just like Coach said.
So now you have Jason Roberts or Dom Foster. Now that's a handoff. Ooh, that was a good tackle right away.
Number 1.
Yeah, so number 2 got the run there. That was Ryan Marini, who's playing in the slot. And then on defense, you said that was number 1 on the tackle.
Yep.
That's JT Nani Okwandri. Now
I have it right here, Okawani.
Okawandri. Now you said, again, that we're going to hear that name a lot, and we've already been saying it. Boy, they've got that pinned down. That's like a bunch of people on the tackle there.
Yeah.
1, 2, 35, 55.
24. There are 4 Bobcats on that one.
So that was Evan Alcidi on the run.
Tried a little toss play to get him to the outside, but didn't work too well.
Yeah, I would call that a swarm tackle right there. I can't really give credit to any one person as much, but they had that read from the beginning. So now it looks like we have 3rd and about 12, 13, rolling out. Oh, we got a pick off here. Did he keep it before he dropped it?
I think that, yep, the official said yes.
So I had that as number 4. So that looks like one of our cornerbacks, Julian Horton, on the interception. Now that's 3 plays in a row that the Bel Air defense read spot on. So you know as well as anybody does, athletic ability is important, but sports IQ is a big thing. Do you think D-backs and cornerbacks and safeties read the quarterbacks, their shoulders, their head turn, things like that?
Yeah, I think the coach is teaching that. I think also part of it might just be the scouting, if they see him in their scrimmages, to know when he's rolling and to see what he's looking for. So you try to find some tendencies, and a lot of time it's the instincts of a player. You like to think the coach, but a lot of time it's the players. They have that instinct.
So we've got another run wide. This time it looks like, I think it's 13 this time.
All right. Tackle by 33 and 55.
I'm going to see if I'm right on the number here. Was it 13 or was it 1? I had a hard time with the end. Yeah, that was 13. Yeah. So number 13 for Bel Air is DJ Collier. Came into the game there, getting a run. Got to give credit to the Fallston defenses out as well for stretching that play out.
55 was a big player there for Fallston.
Well, you know, when you can string out, they say string out the play. It gives people time to get in there, and they really made him run wide. So there's that pass again. Number 4, nice inside move there, Greg. I really like that. That was Julian Horton again.
He's the one with the interception. Now he had the reception. He's having a good first quarter so far.
I like how he cut back against the grain on that. If he would have stayed out on the outside, he would have been tackled. He saw a nice little lane there.
Yeah. Now we got a close 3rd and 3. So you're wondering if you think 2 plays to get 3 yards, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So we have 3rd and short here. I would think we'd have a quick handoff. And we have a first down, folks. Greg, I think that's our first down without a flag. Bring it back.
Yep. Yeah, it is. They get the first down. I'm trying to see the number. The orange, I tell you, I think it's number, we have a 60 or a 50 on the.
Number 1 was on the run there. That was JT again.
But I think the tackle was number 60 for Fallston on the D line.
Yeah, that was one thing that's going to be interesting for us, Greg, is Bel Air is going to challenge us because they have a very creative run game. They will hand off to the running backs. They will hand off to receivers cutting through. They're very creative. It's hard for the defense to have to keep up with. Another quick handoff, waiting for the blocks. That was read very quickly.
Yeah, great play there by defensive lineman number 55.
And 4 was in.
4 was there to lend some support also.
So number 55 on Fallston. That should be, let me see if that's Cooper Savell. No, that's Landon Mills.
Okay.
And I just didn't have his number written down there.
And then there was the linebacker number 4.
Yeah, that's Evan Alcidi. I mean, he's all over the place on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, we were told to look for him.
Well, we also were told that each team had like 4 to 7 players that play both ways, depending on how much you're needed. And he's one of them. So now we have 2nd and just over 10. We see our first pass. Did he not the flat pass? Oh. Now that was a catch, but it was a catch and a fumble backwards. So that looked like that was number 2, Evan Freeney, with his first catch.
And I think number 34 helped close in on there on the cornerback position.
So number 34 was Aiden Fodell. I don't know if he must have stripped that slightly. So now they have 3rd and about 8.
I get back into that same question. You worry about getting 5 or 6 yards so you can go for it on 4th down.
Right.
You're inside the 35, so I'm thinking you're probably already focusing on 2 plays.
Well, you read my mind there, Greg, because the running game is pretty good too. So you might even be able to. Now I think that was one of those. Receiver was going inside, quarterback thought he was going outside plays.
You can see the quarterback touching his chest now to the coach saying, I made the wrong read there. He knew, and that's early on, but it's nice that they know that they're, eventually get on the same page.
So this is probably in a high school football game, 4th down territory, even though it's 4th and 8. You have two thoughts here. You could pin them inside the 10, which is great, but you've worked as hard to get partway up the field. You feel like a penalty or a completion can continue this drive.
Yeah, I agree. Good call on that. And you think two things more positive can happen. So
he's rolling out. He's got the man. Oh my gosh, what a great snag there. In an initial moment there, Greg, I thought that Michael Graham was going to have a hard time catching that, and somehow he brought that in.
Yeah, it was a great catch, and coverage was there. It was a really good throw by the quarterback. He put it right where only his receiver can catch the ball.
Was that Ryan Ramimi, number 2 on that tackle?
I couldn't see. I think it was number 2 that had the catch, right? Or is it number?
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yep. So it was 2 on 2.
Oh, okay.
So we were both right there, Greg. Come on, players, don't make this confusing for us. Let's have a different numbered player tackle the person with the ball. So that looked like the first handoff that we've seen them give to number 25, and that's Stephen Henry.
Right, and then we had number 11 on the tackle. It's a little harder here. It's easier with the white jerseys and the dark blue. Fallston has the orange, but their numbers. So we're having a rough time looking at the interior linemen with their numbers. So we apologize. We're trying to get the best we can. I keep switching from the monitor to the field to see which one I get a better look at.
when they're each better. But so now we have 2nd, and it looks like about 5 here. They say 4 on the monitor. So I was waiting for a pass over the middle.
Well, you got it right there.
Now, he actually had 2 players running in the same vicinity. So Patrick Sullivan, sometimes I even see my pro teams that I root for do that. And I'm like, why aren't your receivers going to the same area? So I'm wondering if that was one of them going in the wrong place, which could happen.
It could, especially, you know, it sounds like a broken record, but earlier in the year, you're trying to figure it out. Maybe one receiver read the route to go in, and so did the other one, and they ended up being in the same place. But wouldn't be surprised they come back to that because he was open.
Yes. He almost could have picked either of the 2. Now, do you think that wide passes, wide runs softens up the middle?
Good run by, there you go. Touchdown by number 1 for the Bobcats.
Yeah, JT got his first touchdown, no penalties. So Bel Air strikes first. Greg, that looked like a pretty good distant run there. So let's see what we have here.
Lining up for the extra point is number 15.
So here's the replay of the run.
Nice block by number 4.
Good lead blocking.
By number 4.
Nice cutback.
Right.
So yes, we have number 16, Jackson Lowry, taking the kick. And it's good. Now, I'm an ex-soccer player and coach, Greg, and I've actually had some coach friends ask me to work with their kickers before. And I know your son, Greg Jr., played quarterback, defensive back or linebacker?
Defensive back.
And he also was a very good kicker. Yeah. And that's something that really takes teamwork. My son is a Raven fan, and he loves what they call the wolf pack on the Ravens. Tucker and the holder and the snapper got broken up because one of the players retired, but that's not easy to time the snap, catch the ball, put it down the same exact time the person comes through the kick.
And it takes a lot of practice too. And I think, you know, a lot of times, even when you watch the college games or the pros, you don't hear too often about the long snapper until they do something wrong. But that was a perfect there for the long snap. The holder put it down, the kicker was already in motion and drilled it right through. So all 3, kudos to the 3 of them for being in sync and getting that extra point.
We'll try to get their numbers next time, folks, if they attempted a field goal. So it's another pooch kick, and they better get on that ball or it's going to be recovered by Bel Air.
Well, Fallston was able to jump on that.
It looked like one of those, you got it, no, I got it, or do you got it? And thankfully, the Fallston coach had somebody get it.
They come out right away, ready to go. If you notice, they're coming out in their formation. Once the referee puts that ball down, looks like they're ready to go.
Yeah, they're not giving them any time here. We'll give you our officials soon, folks. Always appreciate the officials. The job I would not want to do, Greg. So fake handoff one way, and then up the middle.
Tackle by number 35 from Bel Air. He came in off the edge over there.
Yeah, that would be somebody that's not normally the starting lineup.
Nathan Calamita.
Okay.
Playing the linebacker position there.
Yeah. Looks like we have a little bit of a possible blitz coming here, but so we have a pass. That one is overthrown.
And intended receiver is number 10. Really well covered. He had the safety that was coming over, and he had a corner with him almost stride for stride, so they had that covered pretty well.
Yeah, the defense got in the way enough, Greg, that he couldn't continue his route without interfering.
Right, yep.
Now, sometimes as a coach, you teach your receivers to run into somebody.
I'm not going to say that as a former coach, but I won't deny it.
Well, it's drawing a foul. It's part of the skill of being a receiver. Some of the best receivers around make you have to foul them to stop them.
A lot of pressure.
So he did break free. He got part of it, but I don't think
no,
quite going to be there.
It's going to be at least 2 yards short. I think they're tackle number 6 and also number 56 pressuring for Bel Air there. So they had it contained him. He picked up about 7 or 8 yards, but it is 4th down.
So that was Dom Foster on the run in a quarterback scramble. Him and Jason Roberts are, the coach said they're both going to play.
Okay.
So it depends on the situation. Owen Riley was one of the players in on the tackle.
Good timeout by Bel Air, because they had too many men on the field, and if they would have got caught, it would have been the first down for Fallston. So whoever on the sideline saw that gets the pat on the back for not giving them an automatic first down.
So let's see if we can see if they're going to do the same type of kick they did the first time, where they pooched it. Some people call it squib, some people call it pooch kick. I think the difference is the squib is on the ground pretty quickly, and they want it to be a grounder that bounces around kind of crazy, because things can happen when the ball is bouncing around. It's not a round ball, Greg, so
yeah.
I've seen squib kicks come right in, hit off of a blocker who thought I wasn't supposed to be a part of this.
Right.
Now, what do you think about the rules of kickoffs that they changed in football, where they moved back the kickoff line in the pros and college, and I don't know if they did it in high school too, or they moved them up so it's easier to hit it deeper? I don't think that impacts high school because they don't have the leg.
I think the biggest rule is the idea of how many people you're allowed to have on the sideline for a. He's going to be almost like a. He ran that like an Australian
He needs a.
kick.
Now that didn't go as well as they wanted it to.
No.
I mean, you don't want to hit a ball that short. That was Jason Roberts. I get the idea. I think he meant to hit that downfield a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit off the side of his foot as he was rolling out to kick it. You see a lot of people do that in college now, almost like the rugby style kicker. I don't know if that's something they practice or he just did that, was able to see what was happening and did it that way.
So that was my mistake for talking about squib kicks or, the other kinds, but because that was obviously a punt, but it did kind of back up my point, Greg. They don't seem to want to kick it either way to the returner.
No, they don't want to kick it either way. Well, then your other option is you angle it straight for out of bounds, but you hope obviously a little more length. Right now the ball's at the Bobcat 49, so they are in good field position right off the bat, and you're up 7-0. You're interested to see what coach calls for the first play. I know Coach Siegel calls the defense, and Coach Benfield calls the offense, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
So I was going to say, I think I answered my own question I was thinking about. They must have had a scouting report that knows that Bel Air has a good return game. Well, we've seen the running backs on Bel Air, and they're very fast, so you don't want to get them in the open field. Good job coming back to the ball by number 4 on Bel Air offense.
Yep,
That's
number 4 on the tackle for Fallston. That makes it easy for us.
Evan Alcidi on the tackle. Now, I love that play because instead of just catching it 5 yards deep like they were before and then running, he did get some positivity in the offensive end, and then he came back for the ball. He quickly realized that the ball wasn't coming to him. I need to help my quarterback out and come back to this ball.
Yeah, he didn't hesitate either once he catches the ball. He definitely knows what to do with it once he catches it.
So they're going to do a direct snap. Oh, that's the play I love right there. So little shovel pass to wide receiver Michael Graham here, and the tackle by, I want to say they told me this was pronounced Kale Morosco.
Yeah.
So that was a good play all the way around. Kale reacted to that good, but that's the play you're seeing more and more in college and pro. The wide receiver running in front, shovel pass it right to him. That's actually considered a pass.
Yes.
And I had some friends that did not realize it. They were like, oh, that's a 12-yard run. I'm like, nope, that's for the quarterback too.
It has to be a penalty, I think, Ray, because the officials huddling over there right now, and they didn't move the chains yet either, so I'm wondering what the call was.
So I haven't seen him mark anything off either.
I haven't seen anything. Well, I see him pointing now towards Fallston, so I do see Fallston starting to move back.
So this might have been either a face mask or a late hit, because it looks like it's going 15.
It looks like it's a 15, so it must personal foul.
Had to be in on the tackle. Now, the other thing that we don't know is, besides late hit and face mask,
could be a little bit of the
yes, I was going to say, it could be an unsportsmanlike whether it's a player or somebody from the sideline.
Yes.
But that's a huge play there when you add the two up.
And we don't identify like they do in college and pros, so we don't want that either. Just get caught up in heat in the moment of the game.
Right. So direct snap.
Oh,
that ball was almost
really
intercepted.
I'm looking for the number.
Looked like it was, is that 29?
Now here we get a better look at him now, coming around.
Yeah, 20. So that would have been a heroic catch, but that would have been from Noah Walter.
Yeah, did a great. He talked about it earlier about people reacting to the ball to defensive acts. He really made a great break on that.
So we got 24 seconds to go here in the first quarter, folks, and Bel Air is up 7-0. And so far, Greg, they've been able to move the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they're mixing it up really well. I mean, we don't keep the stats in terms of yards for rushing and passing right now, but you can really tell they're mixing it up, and I think the coach feels good whatever he's calling right now that he can do.
Well, it's really great when one side of the one part of the offense gets up the other. Now, we do have a penalty here.
I'm sure that coming from the official, I'm looking at a hold right there.
Yep. That was a nice run, too, by JT again, but yeah, definitely something quick was identified.
That flag came flying out pretty quick.
Let's see which way they're marking this off.
Be interesting to see.
It's a crucial call right now.
They're talking to Bel Air, though. I see 68 standing there, so I'm not sure if it's. I assumed. And
could be the lineman downfield, maybe?
No, not on a run like that. Holding. I think it's going to be holding. Yeah, here it comes.
That's a big call because Fallston needs something to go their way. Right. And
it pushes them back 10 yards, so you're going to go to 2nd and 20. Second and 20. I was glad it was the hold because I didn't want to be wrong on my first guaranteed call of the year, but it was kind of obvious with the way that official threw that flag.
So, Greg, you taught social studies before you were an assistant principal and then principal.
Yep.
You missed a classroom ever?
I do. I even miss the classroom still today. It's one of my favorite things. It was just, you get to be with the kids daily. You get to form that relationship. It's a little bit different when you're, I guess, better like the term, being the manager.
Dropping back to throw.
He's open.
Pretty open play there. Cutting back against the grain again.
Yeah.
The speed is showing here. All the way around the corner. Wow.
Yeah, that
almost made it in.
He's run out by number 2.
Julian Horton.
Yes.
Not only he shows some speed but elusiveness. The only reason I think he couldn't have dove into the end zone there was his last move was to the left, which took his momentum out there. But
number 4 and number 2 were able to get him out there at the end for Fallston, and that's the end of the first quarter with that play.
So we're gonna look at this again if we can, Greg. And one thing I was a little surprised with is how far off the defense is playing off of him. They're showing so much respect that they're backing up. Great cut back here. Enough speed to get around 2 players at the end.
It was number 2 is the one who pushed him out and saved the touchdown.
So let's see.
I tell you what I was really impressed with on that play, Ray, was all 4 of the 3 receivers, or if it was the other running back, but nobody got a block in the back. Nobody put hands. They stood there and basically gave their body up for the block. It's so easy to want to push somebody or hit somebody when you know your player's coming back, but they didn't do that. So it was a really disciplined play by all the receivers and running backs that were downfield once he caught the ball.
So I think they were all very intelligent, and they were all sensing their coach in their mind saying, don't you dare. Don't you dare mess this play up. We've got a first down.
Easier said than done. You always teach them, say, don't hit the numbers, but it doesn't matter when you're out there playing. But you try to tell them that. So
I'm going to go on record saying this is a huge part of the game right here. Bel Air goes up 2 scores here. Their kicker looks pretty solid, so this is probably a makeable field goal, but obviously they want the touchdown here to get a 14-point lead. Fallston needs to be clutch here and step up and try to stop something here.
It's early, but you don't want to go down 14-0 to start the second quarter, basically, after one play. And you never know. You never know if there's going to be a fumble on the exchange. You don't know if they're going to still stay in their spread, and because if you do that, you have to get the snap and you have to get the handoff, or you have to throw a complete pass. So you always have to keep going at Adam. Just hope something happens for the good for you right now.
So you're a coach, Greg. You've had everything working for you for Bel Air offense. You have that quick pass out to the side. Harder to do with this short field now, but your running game's working too. I'm leaning towards a quick run.
There, and you called it right. There's number 2, and he is in.
Okay.
You called it right, Ray.
So
just line it up, get behind your offensive lineman, number 52 and 77. A great job blocking for Bel Air, and the running back just followed right behind him.
So you said 52, that would be Talon Johns, and 72, Aiden Moore.
Yeah, 77.
77. Yep. So basically that's Jonathan Silka. Let's see this replay here, Greg. I'm going to tell you right now, another rule change is you didn't used to be allowed to push and pull your running back into the end zone.
Yeah.
He put the ball across the line there.
Yep.
So that was your tight end, Evan Freeney. He's listed at tight end, and they handed it off to him. So let's see if that's between the uprights. Yes, it is.
Nice hold again by number 6, who was the holder. We have to still look for who the long snapper is.
So
there
that's
next time.
Charles Hammond for the hold there. And while I'm at it, Craig, I have our captains for Bel Air as Julian Horton, Jared Fletcher, Charles Hammond, Patrick Sullivan, and also Matthew Valente. So is it common, because football is such a bigger roster, to pick that many captains?
It is. A lot of coaches try to do 2 offense, 2 defense, and 1 special teams.
Okay.
Because and the reason is you know the official's going to talk to somebody. So you try to have that many captains, and then you have a designated speaking captain.
Okay, we got a mishandling of the ball here.
Good coverage by number 11, Cody Bazemore, for Bel Air there on the tackle.
Yeah, he was very alert there, because you've seen it and I've seen it. Sometimes mistakes turn into, so somebody drops the ball, people are running there, it bounces 2 yards to the left, somebody else picks it up, changes direction, and all of a sudden you got a return. So you got to stay with the play.
Right, you got to stay in your lane, and when you see the ball bounce and run, your tendency is to want to run there, and if they cut back and you're not in your lane, there's a chance that something big can happen.
So let's see if Fallston can get something going here, Greg. They really need to do something here. It's a nice pass, but boy, was that a quick tackle. I think we had on the
number
tackle
21.
there. Yeah, that was.
Catch was by number 4 from Fallston, and then the tackle was by Aiden Valentin. Valentin?
So
Valentine.
Number 4 was Evan Alcidi, and he's the tailback.
All right.
Made a little motion run out there and then caught the pass. It's a good pass by our quarterback. I want to make sure which quarterback's in the game here. Looks like it's number 6, Jason Roberts, right now. So I'm wondering if one of them is more for passing and one of them's more for running. So that was number 4 again, Evan Alcidi.
There's number 51 and 55 on the tackle.
So that's Rowan Edwards and Trenton Dippold.
Yes.
So we have 3rd and looks like 9 or 8.5 here, Greg. And this is not 4-down territory, obviously.
No, not yet.
So they could use something here. Now we do have a whistle here.
I think it was a false start, or he called a timeout, one of the 2.
Yeah, there is a flag.
Yeah, false start on the offense.
That's a shame. But again, another thing that people don't know about is you got 11 players that you got to be ready to go at the same time on the snap. Coaches' frustration having false starts and movement, though. Seen some big games affected by one jump. So we need a longer throw here. Oh, had to overthrow it. There was well covered. There wasn't really much of a chance there. They had defenders in front of the ball, defenders behind the ball. So now we're going to see what kind of a punter Fallston has again, and they need some distance on this, Greg.
Yeah, they're you know, a big punt here would help them. You know, we talked about it earlier about kids, you know, the players going both ways, and that defense is coming right back out. 4 plays, counting the penalties. So all of a sudden, those kids coming out playing defense again. I hope they got some water.
That same
much
technique.
better kick.
Julian Horton on the return. He dropped it.
Oh, ball's loose. Still loose.
Still loose. It's all over the place.
Well, Fallston's saying they have it. We'll wait and see.
It looked like it touched like 4 people.
It did. It bounced around. Fallston's jumping. Bel Air, of course, is pointing the other way.
Looks like Fallston might have it.
Fallston has it.
Number 19 on Fallston.
To be the recovery.
Kevin Tusing Jr.
There you go. Big play for Fallston. You can see on the replay it bounced there and it hit a couple of different players. But yep, he got it.
So what I saw there is I saw your returner having to reach down too far to catch that ball.
Maybe step up one more step to catch it clear instead of run down for it. But now, you know, now Fallston, you have to think, okay, we're at the 44-yard line. If I'm coach, I'm thinking 4 plays to get 10.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how often you're going to get these breaks. So we have another quarterback switch, Ray.
You have to take advantage of this. So our quarterback is
number 1.
Back to Dom Foster. And he's pressured in the back.
Yeah, tackled by number
75 is the first one that got there.
Great pressure.
Juwan Johnson, our nose tackle from Bel Air, he was in there immediately.
Yep.
Tell you what, nose tackles have tough jobs.
They do.
Sometimes they have 2 people blocking them.
Absolutely.
Sometimes if the team has a fullback, they come in and help. They've got to be able to shed tacklers and then tackle. He shed blockers and then tackle.
He did a great job getting through and pursuing. He had his head up to see the play.
He's going across the slant. That was a tough play. Bel Air's got plenty of people in the secondary. So that was like a 1-on-5 there.
Well, their linebackers are dropping and reading too, if you notice. That's why the whole secondary looks like it's crowded in white jerseys. You have you have 4 defensive backs already, and then their linebackers, they're just making the right reads right now. I don't know if a draw is a possibility if it's in their arsenal with the linebackers, if you can get that first block and get to that second level.
Yeah, fake handoff. Got a person out to the side here. He chose the second one. Now, that's going to be a penalty after the catch. So I don't know if they're calling that a catch or not. Probably not.
I don't know. Then there was another flag too, so I don't know what we're going here. There are a couple different flags. I would assume it's going to be a unnecessary roughness hit. I don't know if it was a hit to the head or not, but I think the officials all threw. If you notice, there's every official threw a flag, so you don't see that too often where everybody throws the same flag.
Well, it seemed like the last flag might have came in because it was a reaction by somebody.
Yeah, we'll see. Or hope that you hope no one said anything because you don't want any extra after the play. So we'll have to wait and see.
So if Fallston got a penalty against Bel Air,
that's an automatic first down. That'll be 15 yards, so they'll get a first down.
They'll get a first down. Then, if a Fallston player or coach said something, they'll have a penalty against them.
Right.
And then they'll be back 15 yards.
But it'll already be a first down, so then you'll just go back from the distance of where it was.
So will it be 1st and 25 at that point?
Well, let's see where they mark everything off. I think that's the first thing.
This is why I don't want to be an official.
Now. All right, so he's calling an unnecessary roughness or a personal foul against Bel Air, then unsportsmanlike conduct against Bel Air. So it is going to be both against Bel Air. So that is going. You're going to mark off
30 yards,
15 and 15.
Let's see. There's another 10, 15. Yes. So
I don't think they went to full 15 because once you're inside the
they
did. No, they did. So they're down to the 20-yard line now.
So that was a 30-yard play.
Yes.
You have a fumble recovery on the punt. Then you have a double penalty. So Fallston needed to do something to get back in this game. Now they need to finish it off, Greg.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the other thing: where you are right now, you have to think no matter what, you're not kicking a field goal. You're gonna go 4 downs to get your first down, and then 4 more to get another first down. So I think that's obvious when you're starting to call your plays.
We had movement there somewhere.
Yep.
I saw number 2 on defense for Bel Air move his hands as if to try to get somebody to flinch, and it looks like it worked.
Nothing says you can't do that.
Right.
You're allowed to do that on the defense.
I think Ryan Marimi just earned a penalty for his team. So, Greg, you still have 9 minutes and 21 seconds. It's plenty of time in this quarter, this half. I mean, I was going to say, you may have to do some running. Oh, he did it, but
that was the helmet or the ball?
I think it was the helmet.
Yeah, that was the helmet.
I got to say that threw me off, too, for a second there.
I think it threw everybody off.
Evan Al-Cidi there on the run.
Yeah, he's going to come out for a play to get his helmet taken care of.
So no matter what,
I didn't see the person tackling him because we all thought it was a fumble. So
no matter what, when your helmet comes off, you have to come out for one play.
Yes. No complaints with that. I mean, safety's first and foremost for all these kids, no matter what.
So another handoff, another cut inside.
Yeah.
That time it was number 23 on the run.
Number 2 and number 56 both were in on the play.
So number 23 on the run is Caleb Canatella. And then for the tackle, it looked like Evan Feeney.
Number 56, yes.
And then
Riley Owen was in there.
Owen from the line. I think it's Owen Riley. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was confused too. That could be a penalty, and that's a catch maybe? Nope.
Nope.
Got his hands on it.
Good effort by both players, both offense and defense. It's a nice ball. He put it up in the corner of the end zone and kind of a jump ball, but a good call for both of them on that play.
So, Greg, some conservative people would say, 2nd and 2, why are you passing? Well, you've already said, or it's 4th. It was 4th and 5. My bad.
That was 3rd.
Now it was 3rd down.
Right.
I'm a little surprised he didn't do 2 runs to get the yards, but especially after they just had 2 successful runs.
Well, you heard what Coach said. They keep it spread out. That's their plan. So he's sticking true to who he is. This is a big play here, 4th down.
Yeah, this is an important moment for both teams.
Yeah, they snap the ball and nobody moves, so that's going to be another 5 yards.
First game jitters again here, Greg.
Yeah.
So I was going to say the way they ran the ball the last 2 times, either a draw play or a run outside could have possibly got you 5 yards, but now I'm leaning towards you have to pass.
I think so, 4th and 10.
Well, they've already drawn a few penalties passing too, so 2 options there.
Throwback. Oh, number 3 stayed. What a nice play by number 3.
Yeah, that was a nice pass and catch.
Number 4 for, but
Michael Graham,
he read that. Yeah, he read that really well.
Well, you know what? He read it well, but it didn't hurt him that he had 2 linemen who got in on the quarterback.
Right.
Flushed him to the back a little bit further, made him have to look for an option that he probably didn't really want. He didn't want to throw the ball to the guy that was 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I like the way that the defense came up too. They didn't come up and they contained him. They rushed him, but they rushed him from the outside in to make sure he couldn't get outside of them. So it was a good play all around. So
big stop for the Bel Air defense. See how aggressive they are going down the field here with a 14-0 lead. A 3rd score, and that was a nice fake there. That was like, how do you say, he pretended like he was going to do one thing, and then he just did that shovel pass again, and that was to number 3 again, Michael Graham. So Michael Graham makes the play on one side.
33 or 30, yeah, 33 is for Fallston made the play there.
Yeah, that's Cale Morosco, and I tell you, I like the creativity. I love the creativity.
I think Fallston has a lot to see that's going on with the backs and everybody coming across her face. It's tough to see who is ending up with the ball right now.
Nice pass, cutting across the green there.
That's number 4 again that made the tackle, but he lost his helmet again.
So Evan Alcidi again having to go out of the game.
Better check out that strap. Make sure you got an extra chin strap, or maybe switch it up to make sure it doesn't come off again.
I'll tell you one thing, Greg, and I'm not saying that their play calling's not great, because it is, but they're throwing some balls all the way across the field. And if a Fallston defender would anticipate one, there could be a pick six, but apparently Bel Air's setting it up very well. They're bringing people this way, and then they're throwing it completely against the green.
Yeah, Coach Benfield really has a lot going and working right now.
It must be a hole in the backfield or some kind of procedure.
Yeah, they blew that dead. That has to be a penalty on Bel Air for that one. I'm assuming it's a false start. I think we'll see this tomorrow in the college games, and you'll probably see it in a week when the pros start. You can do everything you want when you're practicing against your own kids and everything, and no one's throwing flags. You just say, play through it, because you're just trying to get your reps at practice. But now when that flag comes out, it makes you think a little bit different.
Have you ever done something I've done before in some sports, Greg, where I brought in a friend who's an official, and I've had them during an inter-squad practice officiate for me?
Yes, you do that. I think as you get closer to the regular season, but yeah, we were able to do that.
I remember you telling me that before. I think that's a very smart move. Okay, that was a delayed handoff, draw. He needs one block. So I think he could have, there's the block there.
Oh, big hit by number 2.
So our run was by JT Owanji Nana again. And then number 2 on the tackle there. What a hit. That was from Ryan Marimi again.
Bel Air's backs are not afraid to cut back all the way across the field. That is for sure. That is some vision they have. And again, I have to say, too, you could have had 2 other Bel Air players to block in the back, but they held off.
Right.
So
I did see one moment there where I thought a receiver should have blocked. They missed the first chance, but their player was so elusive that they got around him anyhow. Then they did another block.
He went down and hit the second one.
Yes. That was well covered. The 2 players there, 20 and 23 on Fallston.
Yeah, they read that out well.
Yeah, they kind of made him have a really, really bad angle, and that would have been Noah Walter and Caleb Canatella. So now we have a very important 2 downs here, because I don't think Bel Air is going to go for it on 4 downs in this area. So Fallston
they'd have to come.
stop.
They'd have to get at least 8 or 9 before you even think about it.
Right. So Fallston needs a good stop to make up for their not finishing off their last drive. They need to keep this 2 scores. That was a good read, but boy, what elusiveness there.
21 and 4 again. 21 and 4 were the tackles for Fallston.
So on the catch there was Michael Graham, and his first move was brilliant, because I thought he was going to be tackled immediately. Owen Sellers was in there on the tackle along with Evan Alcidi.
Well, Ray, we were both wrong, because now it is 4th and 5, and
they say it's
their
third.
offense.
They say it's third.
Oh, that's right, because that was the penalty before. Okay.
Yes. So now is Fallston's crucial moment here.
Yes.
They need to stop him here and get the ball back and have time for 1 score. But Bel Air wants to put this game in a bigger lead right now. Nice handoff, flushed in the backfield, good gang tackling there. I love how
88 was
88
there,
came up there.
and then also 4 and 55 for Fallston. They had 3 or 4 on tackle there.
Oliver Ruckert, Evan Alcidi, and Landon Mills all in there. So now we're going to see a punt, and let's see our punter's number here, Greg.
I think it's the same kicker as for the extra points, number 16.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
Jackson
Lowry.
Let's see what kind of distance he can get on a punt here. Now let's see if they're trying to keep away from Fallston's kicker, but no, he hit it to him. Nice catch on the run.
And nice play by number 11, which is Cody Bazemore. He's had two tackles on special teams so far, one on kickoff and one on punt coverage. So he's doing really well today.
That was aggressive return.
Yes.
And I like that because if he lets that bounce, that ball is going to have top spin and go down inside the 20-yard line. He just got his team another 15 yards by fielding that ball.
Now, and this is big too. You have 4 minutes and 36 seconds if the clock's right in the second quarter. So you ideally, if you're Fallston, you'd like to drive it all the way down, score, and keep it 14-7 going into halftime.
Yeah, if you look at the
complete pass over the middle,
that was a tough one for me to see, but it still was impressive catch because that ball looked a little bit low.
It was. I can't see the number. He's already up in there. That's the thing with Fallston. They don't give us much time to check for numbers. They're already up to the line of scrimmage calling their next play already.
Now, the clock is working against them. But I haven't seen him call a timeout. That was a nice draw, and he's near the first down marker.
Yeah, I think he'll get it.
Yeah, I do too.
Trying to look for the number there on the carry. LC. And that was number 56 to make the tackle for Bel Air, which would be the.
So you are correct, Greg, on the fact that the numbers are hard to read.
I thought it was just my eyes.
So we got a quarterback draw
keep,
here.
Yeah.
There. So I think the previous run was Evan Alcidi.
Yes.
And I think that run right there was Jason Roberts, the quarterback at the moment.
All right, and then the tackle by two. Bobcat defenders, 56 and 54.
That's Owen O'Reilly.
Yep.
And
54 is Jordan Engel,
who's been coming in and out of the game.
Yes.
They do rotate. Now you have a pass play here. Ball's a little low.
Incomplete pass. That
was an attempt to pass to number 8, Colin Lawback, and it was a little bit low, but you couldn't hang that ball too high because there was definitely 2 defenders right in the vicinity. So it's a very important third down right now and 7.
7. That's a big play here.
So let's see what happens at this play before
set up a little screen almost.
So there must be a hold downfield here.
Either going to hold or he's going to call an alignment downfield. One of the two. It'll be interesting to see.
It's a shame if it's against Fallston because that was a nice improvised play, and it would have been a first down.
Yeah, I wasn't looking. I was watching the quarterback roll out, so I didn't see if any linemen broke early or not. But everybody's kind of still talking about it.
Looks like Fallston's walking backwards, so I don't know. So this is something I like to see, Greg. The officials conferring, because I'd rather, as a coach, know that the officials verify if the call was right.
Legal man downfield, I think, is what he indicated. Yep, going to the touching the head. So legal man downfield. So obviously you're going to have to take that because they were close to, if not the first down. So they're going to have to take that penalty call.
Yeah. So I have our ref as Dave Stewart, our umpire as David Montgomery, and then our linesman Matt Nakic, our line judge Steve Davids, and our back judge Brian Norma.
So we're back to 3rd and 13 right now.
Yeah. Another procedure or something.
Yep. Movement on the outside.
That was a shame because they literally had 3rd and 4 or 5, and they had a really good chance.
They actually called it on Bel Air for jumping off sides.
Well, that's a big reversal there.
That helps them.
So here's my question for you, Greg. You're down 2 scores, 3 minutes to go. If you have 4th and short in the midfield area, do you go for that to try to get within 1 score, or do you punt it to not get down by 3 scores? He caught that. He needs, but he went backwards.
Well, that was a great play by Aiden, number 21 for Bel Air. He read that, came up, really closed down on it. Just a great read by him on that play.
That was a great catch by Brody Fitzke, but again, the Bel Air defense was right on him. So Now, one thing I'm surprised by, but not surprised by, you tell me. In college and pro, you're generally going to go to the line of scrimmage and you're going to try to do a hard count, something to draw a 5-yard penalty.
Right.
Knowing that your punter, doesn't matter if they back up 5 yards because they can punt the ball 55 yards in the air.
Right.
But with the kickers not being as strong-legged in high school and experienced, is it worth trying to get that 5 yards twice to get a first down?
I think when you're in the area closer to maybe 6 or 7 yards or under 5, you might try that, but you're already at 10.
Right.
And then, you know, if you do that, great if it works, then you're down to 5. If you do it wrong and it goes against you, you go 15. So
right.
I think it all depends how much closer you are. I think they did what they needed to do to try to make a play, you know, but I think if it's under 5, you try to draw them off on a hard count.
And maybe they really haven't had a chance to master that enough. So he's doing that angle run again.
Got good distance again. Number 6.
He caught that one. He caught it low again.
Yeah.
He has some room. It's number 6 going. He needs a block here.
Yeah,
there is a flag on the sideline, though.
There's going to be a flag on the. There's going to be a flag, unfortunately, on the block for Bel Air.
So that run back was from Charles Hammond. And the weird thing about it, Greg, was the flag was way beyond the play.
Yeah, and that's why they got the flag. So hopefully this young man is okay. He did. It was a hard hit. So hopefully he's going to be okay. This is where we're thankful that we have our trainers and we have our coaches that are trained on what they need to do and how to address a situation for an injury. So hopefully we have everybody that's needed to be out there at this time, and we just hope that the young gentleman's okay. And I don't want to give a number because we don't want to be wrong.
So, Greg, while we have a player down at the break here, what's your impression of the first half so far?
I think that Fallston has a little bit of jitters. I think the penalties have really hurt them. I think that if they can get rid of those penalties, that would give them a little bit more momentum to keep the ball and carrying the ball forward and holding it for a little bit longer possession and keeping it out of Bel Air. I think Bel Air is really mixing it up. I wish we had the statistics, like I said, but I would think that they're pretty even in terms of running and rushing and passing right now, because they're really mixing it up well, and they're using a lot of different people out there. You know, you hear number 4 getting the ball, Horton, and then you hear Hammond getting the ball, and then
even Freeney at tight end.
Right, so they're really mixing it up well. So I think that's a benefit for them.
They have 3 receivers who have all caught passes. Running backs have already caught passes. Now, we did hear Fallston coach tell us, you know, Coach Robinson told us that they're young.
Right.
And they're showing their age a little bit here, but it's only a 2-score game. Anything can happen. I will say the Bel Air assistants are Kyle Benfield, Julian Pickett, Brandon Mikesel, Jeffrey Smelka, and Andy Neal. And the Bel Air captains are Jared Fletcher, Julian Horton, Charlie Hammond, Patrick Sullivan, and Matthew Valenti. And I think I already said the Fallston captains. We do see some 3-sport athletes here, Greg. You were talking to me about some of them before, or 2 or 3 sport athletes. I like to see that.
Yeah, I think more and more too when you talk about going to the next level for athletics. You know, a lot of the college coaches are looking at different sports so they can do that. I think right now we're kind of focused right now what's going on in the field for that player. It's taking a little bit longer than we would hope. But I do see both teams now have come off the field, so let's keep our thoughts for that young man.
Yeah, we have to hope for the best here. They may be calling for ambulance or something.
We're looking for who. Well, he's up. That's a good thing. So he's sitting up. So that's the positive right there. That's first good sign that we see him up sitting.
Yeah,
there we go.
First of all, you have to hope.
Number 24.
You have to hope it's not a head injury.
Number 24.
So this is a Fallston player, number 24. That would be Gary Mann. I'm sorry, Fallston, wrong team. Ethan Wenger. He's a 11th grader, plays linebacker. Yeah, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, especially first game of the season.
Yeah, to kind of recap then in the end with the play, there was a big return, but because of the penalty there on the block.
15 yards from the penalty, yes.
So they'll be back now, Bel Air, at the 24.
Yeah, that's literally like a 30-yard difference of where the ball would have been from the end of the play. So, so I do know that I and an old man, Greg, so the day of the two-sport athlete is dwindling as kids are specializing more. And we all know, we heard the saying that it's best for your muscles, and we'll recap that a little bit later, but it's not good for your, muscles to just do the same sport nonstop.
Yeah, so we're learning that a lot more, especially with the injuries for ACLs, MCLs, and everything. I unfortunately can tell you that with my son.
So we know that with Greg, he had way too many. So that's a nice quick pass, number 4. And let's see if he gets out of bounds. So, Greg, I was just getting ready to ask you as we watch Julian Horton catch another outside pass and get himself some yards. 210 here, you pretty much almost have to go with passing the whole way, unless the team is totally defending the pass and you have you see it read for a draw play, because Bel Air should still have timeouts left.
I think they have at least 2, but I also know, I tell you what play we haven't seen, Ray, and you mentioned it earlier, was that pass over the middle when they had 2 people in the same area. It'd be interesting if they could slip someone down the seam right here in the middle of the field. So, if the coaches see that upstairs.
Kind of a little blitz here, a long pass.
Right down the middle, right?
See if he holds on to that. Wow.
Yeah, nice
catch. That was a nice catch.
That
number 3 again. So, to our point, Michael Graham there with a great catch. I mean, he had to go up, they say, to the point of the ball and meet the ball. So,
and tackle, he made a nice hit, but he held on to the ball.
Yeah, Ryan Marini really was great on that tackle, but that's like a 3-part play. You got to get open, he's got to go to the high point of that ball and catch it, and then he's got to make sure they can't dislodge it. He caught that still.
That was a nice catch from behind.
He had to go and spin completely. So that looked like JT Owanji-Nana on that move. So
tackle by number 10 and number 33 from Fallston. So
the question is, how quickly do you use your timeouts? It really depends on how quickly you can get back to the line of scrimmage, right?
Right. I think right here, if you get a first down, they might use their first one. Just depends on what they run here.
Another pass. I'd head to the sideline, but he's going to the middle of the field. So
he did get the first down, so it'll be interesting if he's going to call a timeout or not. Coach already has another play going on. He's not worried about it. He just ran out to the quarterback midway to the hash, gets another play in. So
looks like the clock stops for the first down, and then it rolls again.
Yes.
So that does give him a little bit of time to call the play in the huddle and get up to the line of scrimmage. But I think they don't like to.
Let's pass to number 8, the tight end. There's your first timeout.
Yeah, there's your tight end. Actually, number 8 for tight end, it was Evan Freeney in there before. So if it's number 8, that's Colin Lawback.
Yeah.
So, Greg, you have first down, incompletion, stop the clock. You got to kind of call 2 or 3 plays right now.
Yeah, I wish if we knew if there was 2 timeouts or 1, but here's the other thing with their kicker. He seems to have range, so even if you get another 5 yards, you can think maybe a field goal, because then that pushes it to a 3-score game. So you would like to go into halftime at least up by 3 if you could for your Bel Air. Fallston, you're doing everything you can to keep them out of the end zone and make them try a field goal, but we'll have to see. They put 38 seconds on the clock, so I guess the referee adjusted the clock. So we're 38. I'm thinking Bel Air has 1 timeout left, because I remember they called the timeout earlier. Remember when they had too many men on the field?
Yes.
So they have, if I'm correct, they have 1 left. So, but here's the thing, Ray. You don't have to worry about running deep patterns here. You're at the 20. So even if you get a 10 or 12-yard catch, you can get to the line of scrimmage. You can always clock the ball, too, don't forget. Just have to make sure you know what down it is.
And one of the strange things about the high school level, Greg, is
Fallston calling a timeout now after they saw what Bel Air came out in.
That's smart. You even have to worry about your linemen and your players moving on clocking the ball.
Yes.
So that's something that takes some discipline and practice.
You don't just do it and it comes automatic. Everybody thinks it's the center and the quarterback. Everybody has to be set. You can get called for that procedure and it's 5 yards and all of a sudden you're moving back. And right now, as I said, if the kicker would kick a field goal right here, it'd put the ball down at the 20, 28. So it'd be a 38-yard field goal. So if you want to get another 10 yards and then cut it down to 28, might be more possible for him. I don't know the kicker's range. I did watch him warm up, but he was drilling the ball through.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, Greg. The fans at home might not be able to hear it, but whoever is in charge of the music here is really doing good. I mean, what a great atmosphere, folks. We have a Friday Night Lights, full stands at Fallston, people all over the place around the stands.
Fans getting ready to come onto the field for halftime.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. Here we go with the drop back. He's open, but wow, he almost got that. Let's see who that was.
I'm thinking
that's number 5 again.
For Fallston.
Yeah, that's Max Ruckert, and
he read that really well.
That is a great play.
That's a big play.
Now he's kicking himself for not holding on to it,
right?
But that was still a great effort, and that would have made it be a great catch to do that.
Sure.
I mean, you'd be happy if your receiver could do a diving catch, let alone a defensive player.
Well, now 3rd and 4. You don't have to necessarily go for the touchdown. 3rd and 4, 5 gets you the first down. You clock the ball, and then you still have 25 seconds to go plus a timeout,
which is plenty of time for 3 passes in the end zone. So I even get mad at the pro level when I watch my teams.
They're taking number 4 out. I think number 4 is having his problem with his helmet again.
Yes.
That must have been the official that noticed that. And it's tough to do that, but you have to do what's best for a player. If he saw his straps broke or something, that's why he had to get it taken care of.
So the MVP for Fallston might be the equipment manager next, folks, because you do not like to take him off the field. He's rolling out, getting some pressure. High point, and it's intercepted.
That's a big play. That's number 10.
That's 10. So that is one of our safeties, probably. No, it's not even a starter. It's Zach Rowe on that interception. So big play.
That is a
Here we come with the replay. There was a deflection here, Greg. Let's see if we can get who the deflection was first. So it looked like somebody popped it up.
I think it was right here, which would be number 20 or
34.
34 tips that first.
So 34 gets his hands on the ball, and that's Aiden Fodell. And then his teammate comes in there.
That keeps the game to a 2-game. At this point here, with only 1 timeout for Bel Air, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's run the ball here, I think. There you go. Now you can, now
I might call timeout and throw one downfield.
Well, it's a first down. They might come up and just spike it, but it looks like Fallston's calling a timeout.
So here's the thing, Greg. Most people would say, why would you throw? Well, you can draw a 25-yard interference play. What you're telling your quarterback right now as a coach is you're like, if there's nothing there, you throw the ball away.
Well, that's the main thing. You have to make sure you don't force it, because I think if Bel Air's quarterback would have had that, I think when he looks at the films next week or tomorrow or wherever, he'll see there were 3 orange jerseys in that end zone, and if you throw that away, you might get that field goal. So I'm sure Coach Penfield, knowing him, is talking to him, and he gave him the opportunity, but he'll work on that. But a great play by the defensive back, tipping it, and then that's the tip drill. People forget that. That's the tip drill. Even in pregame warm-ups, you see him just tipping the ball up in the air and catching it. Well, that's exactly why you do it.
Well, Greg, when I was asking you your opinion of the first half with 2 minutes ago, that seemed like an hour ago. And we've had so many stoppages and now a couple change of possession. So I would think they're going to let their clock run out now.
Yeah, Fallston, I think taking it last time. That was a nice run by number 4. Got his helmets back on. And then the defense there, JT with another tackle. He is all over the field today for Bel Air.
So you kind of got to admire Fallston's no-quit attitude here. A lot of people would say, let the clock run out. And they're like, we have the ball. We are going to try to do something here. Now, they might surprise us. I've said this before, and then they just took a knee.
Yeah.
You're like, what was all the...
I'm pretty sure they don't have any time on, so I think they're going to let this fly,
Yeah.
do what you said, maybe get another penalty and then throw it deeper. But I think, so unless we have a penalty, I think we're going to see this as the last play of the half.
What some of the fans might not know, Greg, is that you cannot end the half on a defensive penalty.
Right.
So that's why you do that. That's why you figure if you throw an interception at their 30-yard line and they're tackled, half's over.
Right.
But if you draw a penalty, but let's see if they can have the time. Let's see if they blitz here. There is some pressure. Now we do have third down now, 4 seconds. You got to kill the 4 seconds.
Or throw it as far as you can.
Yes. So you got to put the ball in the air for at least 4 seconds here. Now I'm going to give you my synopsis here, and you can chime in here. But at one point, this game looked like it could have been a blowout.
Yeah, if they score, Bel Air go up 21-0. I think you're going to have to regroup a different way. Now, I think you're still in the game. There you go. Take the run out the clock. That's the end of the half. So I think Fallston, if I'm Fallston, they're feeling pretty good right now.
Right.
Only 14-0. I think they know that a lot of mistakes have been made by them, which was expected in the first half. So I think if they can cut those, that they'll be able to, they feel that they can still be in the game because it's only 2 touchdowns. One turnover away, and it's 14-7.
So we are now at the end of the first half of our Sports Showcase event on Hartford TV. Great football game so far between Fallston Cougars and Bel Air Bobcats. We are at halftime, and the score is Bel Air 14, Fallston 0. We will be right back with second half action after this break. Welcome to the Sports Showcase event on Hartford TV. We're here for the second half of our Bel Air Fallston matchup. I'm here with Greg Commandor. We've had a great first half, Greg. Jumped out to a 14-point lead for Bel Air. Looked like they could run away with it. But Fallston got a couple stops, including a pretty dramatic interception in the end zone near the end of the half.
I think that's a big play for Fallston. That keeps them in the game. You had Bel Air going in. If they would have went up, even with a field goal, it's a 3-score game. But now it's still a 2-score game, and Fallston getting the ball and see if they can score, make it a 14-7, and it's anybody's ball game at that point.
Well, Keith Robinson's obviously been a successful football coach between Fallston, Overly, and I think it's Perry Hall High School. He has a 136-65 record, so he obviously knows what he's doing. He likes the spread offense, and you mentioned to me at halftime he probably needs to mix in a little bit here because the spread offense is allowing some quick hitters on the run or some over-the-middle passes if they look for it.
Yeah, I think, the coaching staff, I'm sure, are getting help from up top and, from their coaches, being able to see what they think can work. They did have a couple runs for positive yards, 4, 5, and 6 yards. So, as much as they want to keep throwing the ball, it just seems like the corners are sitting there waiting for it for Bel Air. They're really reading what's happening to the outside. So maybe they'll change things up a little bit, see if they can get the ball moving on the ground and then go back to the passing game.
Well, I think to your point, I think that they have plenty of time left here to show some patience. They have a whole half. They don't have to go out there like it's the last 2 minutes of the game. So, A, if you can get some first downs and move downfield with some run plays, B, keep that Bel Air offense off the field.
Yeah, I think that's important too. And, people will probably listen to us and they're laughing, or when they watch us and laugh. But you look at your kids and say, hey, it's 14. It's 14 points. It's 2 scores. That's why that stop was so big at the end of the half. When you're saying we need 3, it just sounds different, And so with only 2-score difference, you're still in this game. So I think that let's see what happens. You see they're lining up right now to get the ball. It's important that they catch this kickoff. I think they've had a couple of little you know, little situations with the kickoff. But if they can get the ball and get some positive yardage and set themselves up in good field position, then they can go back to their offense and see what happens.
Well, what do they always say is one of the biggest factors in football? Turnovers.
Yes.
And Fallston had a turnover they created on the punt, and they recovered that, drove downfield partially, and almost got to where they could score, and they created a turnover at the end. Those two turnovers have probably kept them in the game by far.
Yeah, I agree. You're right on to that.
So we do have a regular kickoff here. We do have a good return on the run, and we are doing our best with the numbers, and he's around the end there. Looks like he got that ball up to the 40-yard line.
Yep.
I want to say it was number two.
Yes.
And that would be Ryan Marimi. Heard his name a lot today. So let's see what the Fallston offense can do here, Greg.
Exactly what we said. They're at the 40-yard line. They caught the ball in the air, and you know he was a good 25-yard return. So right now, first down at the 40. So you're not backed up too far. You can get to do whatever you want in your playbook. So let's see what happens here.
So let's see which quarterback's under center here, Greg. It looks like
number one,
and that would be Don Foster. And he does do his own draw play there. He initially got about 1 or 2 yards before the defense pushed him back. And that was a pile that pushed him back. But I think the main person in on that,
I think that was Evan Freeney, and it looks like he's injured there. I don't know what it is.
He's patting the ground. I don't like the look at that.
They roll him over, and it's a cramp. There
Okay.
That was one of the things we didn't mention. It's a cool night here, and as a former coach, Ray, you know, every time it gets cool, kids, they can still cramp up, and people don't think about that. And it's always, well, did you drink water, during halftime? It's not today. It's 48 hours ago.
Yes.
Did you prepare? But you can cramp up even though it's a cooler day, and it is a much cooler evening. I'm glad it's not Monday. They're calling for 100 degrees on Monday, so we probably wouldn't be playing the game if it's that hot. So, but you could tell there's a cramp right there, and the problem is
they're harder to come back from.
Yeah, they are. And then you get them again, and so you're gonna have to do a lot of hydrating and a lot of stretching on the sidelines. You can see over here the kicker is being stretched out for Bel Air.
Greg, I don't like it when I get a cramp when I'm in my recliner. So getting one in the middle of a football play, that cannot be fun.
I actually see 3 different players at Bel Air right now being stretched out during this play and the break. So that tells you something.
Well, that was a big gang tackle there, and I was trying to get the number, but they stretched it out, and he needs one move. Man, talk about some speed again.
Yeah, number 4 with the big play.
That's Evan Alcidi again. He is.
We just got a late flag right now.
So
very late flag.
I'm thinking it's against Bel Air because we have some Bel Air coaches talking to the officials.
I think Bel Air wanted a hold on the play. They felt that their cornerback was being held, and I think the coaches were being pretty animated.
You've never done that, have you, Greg?
I'm going to decline to answer that question for anybody that's paying attention to this right now.
I know I have been before. That's what assistant coaches are for. Calm down, head coaches, and vice versa.
Yeah.
When I coached both of our daughters in soccer, and we had 3 mutual good friends that were assistant coaches for me, our rule was we couldn't coach our own daughter, because you said you coached Gregory before,
football,
and who do we tend to be hardest on?
Oh wow, they called it on Fallston.
They did get the call.
Yeah, they called it on Fallston, but they didn't call the holding. They called the unsportsmanlike conduct. So something must have happened after the play, right?
So what I'm thinking happened there, Greg, was literally the Bel Air coaches were arguing for it, and the officials were probably like, "We got it, we called it, we saw it," you know. So
it was a first down, but it was not down to the 40-yard line because it was brought back to 15 yards. So they still have a first down. But I tell you, Fallston found something. They were able to run 2 plays for positive yards. It's something they must have seen. And, you know, you mentioned it before, halftime adjustment. So maybe they're seeing a little something. They might be double teaming down on the nose guard. They might be, you know, double teaming on the defensive line for Bel Air. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But I think they feel a little bit more positive that they had those two positives. You just can't have that penalty. You have to really be disciplined at this point because that's a 15-yard difference right now.
Well, and I do see that it's still 1st and 10. So when you get that kind of penalty, it's not. So they're going to call that a. They're going to call that a defenseless receiver.
Receiver, yeah. And the ball went out of his hands, and then they're going to call that a 15-yard penalty there.
So I'm a little bit unclear on that. I know I'm going to sound like an old man to say in the old days that the defenders could do that, and more penalties are against defenders. But what was he supposed to do there? Just wrap up instead of hit?
You know, if we had a replay, if we were able to see it, I think that it seemed like it was clean where he hit him. It may have just been after the ball already went off his hands far enough.
Okay.
So if the ball, you know, he hit the ball, tipped it, and then it kept going, and then the Bel Air defender, you know, hit him after that. I think that might be the difference of the call, but I don't have that on the replay. Big
call there.
Well, it gets back to 15 yards from the previous call. So now they're actually where they were earlier. So they're back down now at the 40-yard line.
So you talked before about the fact that the Bel Air defenders had these plays fairly well figured out. And in my mind, outside of the illegal hit, they had that figured out.
Quarterback draw.
I love the options here.
All right, that's a run by the number 1 by Foster, and then stopped by JT. So it's a positive. They get 4 yards. So now all of a sudden it's 2nd and 6. You get to do what you want to do now.
So I love this quarterback option, running back option thing now. They really wanted to. They can add the receivers coming across.
Nice play.
The reverse run type of thing. So that was really well defended there.
Yeah, number 2 came off the side. That was Freeney from Bel Air. Yeah, he came off the side and read that well. And the quarterback, not only did he read the first back through, he read the second back through, and that allowed Freeney, if you notice, coming off the side there. So he made a really good read. He stayed and made the move. So 3rd down.
So you might see something soon where the quarterback fakes the handoff with the guy going to the left and then he goes to the right. But I'm wrong entirely. What a good job eluding that, finding the receiver.
Throw.
He crawled off the tackle,
touchdown.
And he's in. Wow.
That is number...
That's number 8, and that's our...
Brody Fitzke?
Yeah.
And, well, they needed a play, and that's the play they got. They needed a play there.
So now we get to see the kicking game. But I'll tell you what started that playoff, Greg, is the defensive lineman got in there quick.
Yep.
And the quarterback was elusive.
He was. It was a great throw. He threw that on the run and put it right on the money.
Yep. So here we go. Let's see which quarterback this is. This is number 1 again, Dom Foster. Eludes the tackle, throws it. And I love how the receiver came back for the ball, did a hesitation move, and then went right by him down the end zone. Now let's see what their kicking game is like here for the extra point. We talked about the difficulty level of snap, hold, kick. So it looks like our kicker is going to see if this is it's either 1 or 4. I can't tell from this angle so far. Looks like 1.
No. That is going to be Jason Roberts, number 6.
Oh, it's 6. Okay. Yep. Tells you my eyesight. So nice snap, kick, and hold.
Yep. Well, so just what we said, 14-7. They only needed 1 score to get back in the game.
We got ourselves a ball game here, folks.
More and more of that interception in the end zone at the end of the first half is really going to help Fallston, I think.
So that was Greg, what do you want to say? It's about a 30-yard pass play?
Easily, yes. Yeah.
So that pass play was from Dom Foster to Brody Fitzke.
Yes.
And man, you don't see many of them like that in the high school level.
I think that may have been the first tackle that the Bobcats didn't really make tonight. I mean, he I mean, it's a great move, not taking anything away from Fallston, but I think that may have been their first one they missed.
Yeah.
So this is big now. You have 14-7. We've been talking about how the special teams have been a factor. So let's see, you know, do we go back to a deep kick or a squib kick? So
one thing I wanted to ask you, Greg, was you talk about the temperature right now. It's a little cool.
A little chip kick right there.
Yep. Can the turf start to get slipperier as the evening goes by?
I think it could, but we haven't seen it yet. I don't know how much the dew out there is affecting it. I haven't seen anybody really making a number. We have a Bobcat down.
Yeah, number 3, and was on the return there for Bel Air, and that's Michael Graham. And I couldn't quite get the number, but I love that one of the Fallston players on the tackle, because he got pushed back, tried to continue, and then he swarm tackled him back at an angle.
Yeah.
And I love that one of the Fallston players came over and kind of patted him on the shoulder and said, "You okay, man?"
That's another cramp again.
Yeah, until the referee said, "Go to your sideline."
Yeah.
Love to see the sportsmanship.
Absolutely. And these kids, they know each other too. A lot of these kids probably played rec against each other. They probably play different sports against each other. We talked about that before, the amount of athletes playing 2 and 3 sports. So they know each other. They respect. Hey, they go out there and do the same workouts day in, day out in the heat. But another cramping situation again.
Well, I'm going to add to that, Greg. You're going to have some of these people who have played sports with each other. Because in today's day and age, especially of club sports, if some of these boys play club baseball or lacrosse, they're not necessarily just on their Fallston or Bel Air hometown team.
You're right, absolutely.
They could be on a county-wide club team. If they do club or travel basketball or AAU basketball, they wrestle, if they do anything. And that's kind of neat, and I love that. I mean, you know, I have pictures at home of my daughter's soccer teammates and your daughter Kara's, where the girls are on different high schools playing against each other. They're in a picture in the Aegis or Sun paper, and they're smiling because they're like marking each other in the game, and they're used to being teammates. It's I called a girls lacrosse game with a good friend of your daughter, Maggie Gallagher, and her father Dan called a game with me, and these girls are like joking around pregame, playing hard during the game, and then hugging each other after the game because they're teammates and best friends across the sidelines.
So, number 3 is he's really trying to stretch it out for Bel Air on the sidelines.
So this is an important moment for Bel Air as a handoff to number 1, JT Owanji Nana. And
that was Kale Morosco again with another tackle at the linebacker position.
Well, they've got to answer now, Greg. Bel Air's got to answer. You know, they've kind of gotten a little bit of a couple punches to the gut here with the interception at the end of the half, and now a long touchdown after a couple crucial penalties. You know, Bel Air Coach Siegel is really telling the boys, let's focus now. Let's do what we know what we can do. Delayed hand, a nice handoff now. He did do a little stutter step, but man, we've got the whole team in there. We got 60, 33, 55.
4. There's a little bit of everybody. There is a flag down I saw though.
Up, sure. Look at that, look at that. The one teammate pulling the other teammate away, basically, who was maybe doing a little bit of mouthing off, and he basically said, get away from the play. That's good leadership. The last thing you need is another unsportsmanlike conduct on either side right now.
Wait to see what the penalty is.
We've seen some big 15-yard penalties in this game, Greg, on hits, on talking. I'm sure you did the same thing.
Personal foul, chop block, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, on Bel Air, so that'll change things.
I'm sure you did the same thing as a head coach. You told your coaches and your players, I'm the only one that does the talking.
Well, yeah, you try to say that, but
yes.
I think sometimes it doesn't happen. And look, we all know the kids are excited. It's the first game. It's under the lights. Everybody's playing. It's a rival. Just goes back to what we were saying. We know each other. So you're just trying to make sure that you know no one has any intent to do anything malicious against one another. They're excited, and it's a game. It's 14-7, so it's a game on.
So I see something here that I've seen you do before, Greg. I see Joe Collins looking up at the fan section, the principal of Fallston, making sure the wonderful fans are behaving themselves.
Yeah, that's always a fun night. But it's great. The Fallston section, it's loud and big, and they're having a good time, and they're just as excited too.
So we have a nice little pass out to the sideline here. Looks like he's going to get easily a first down, and that is number 6, Charles Hammond. I'll tell you what I love, Greg, here is I love how much the whole offense is involved for Bel Air.
Yeah, there's not one person you can key on, that's for sure.
So it is third down. I forgot they were backed up a little bit there.
Yeah, they had that penalty. They pushed them back.
So they only have 3 to go here, so they have options here. I'll tell you what, I think the Fallston defense respects the receivers so much that they do seem to back up on them. So the Bel Air receivers have been able to catch and then go.
I'm interested, too, that Coach Benfield has thrown the ball to the short side of the field so much.
It looks like he's got the first down if there's no penalties. Or no,
it's going to be really close.
I thought he had that ball.
But really close.
But you know what? I didn't realize they handed that ball off behind the line of scrimmage pretty far. So one official's pointing.
Yep, they gave him the first down.
Yep.
First down.
So, Greg, I don't know if everybody knows what YAC is in football, but it's yards after catch. And I've been pretty impressed with both teams' receivers in that regard.
Well, especially the touchdown just previously by the Fallston player, but they are. I think they're really making a living on the outside. It's an extension of the run game, and they are picking up positive yards almost every time to the outside, the Bobcats.
So we got a first down here, new set of downs. They're using up some clock. Initially looked like that play was shut down. It was. So you've got number 4 in there again, and that's our
Kale Morosco in there again, number 33, and
Evan Alcidi.
Yeah, Evan Alcidi. There's one of the linemen too. I couldn't get his number, but I see him walking back, so he was there also. Fallston's coming on much more aggressive. I tell you what, the second half, a good offensive series. Their defense is really coming strong. That's only a 2-yard gain, when earlier in the game, I think those were 6 or 7 yard gains.
Yes, they were. They're gaining, you're right, they're gaining confidence. And that's one of the strange things about sports is step one sometime is when you're getting outplayed is staying in the game.
Yes.
And then you can start to change things, let your coaches give you suggestions. So we got Bel Air. Looks like they're going to have a first down again here, broken tackle.
And number 6 in the catch.
Yeah, that was a good effort after the catch again by Charles Hammond. Said his name multiple times. I want to say there's probably, if we had statistics, I want to say at least 3 receivers for Bel Air have at least 3 or 4 catches each.
Right. I don't know if you noticed that the play, just go back to what you said before, but 2 different players, one from Fallston helping up Bel Air player and vice versa. So I think they understand what they're out there. They're battling hard and they respect one another. It's great to see.
So we got another set of downs here for Bel Air.
Okay. Carried by number 19. That is.
Yeah, that's a new one for us there.
Christian Viaz.
Yeah. And I think we had an ankle tackle there. Yeah. We got another player down here, Greg.
It looks like just from the way people are already pushing them back, you think it's a cramp of some sort.
So I like how the officials respect that, and their team's not charged a timeout for it.
No, I think you'll see too as the weekend goes on, and you're seeing some of even the college games and other high school games that hotter it gets. That's number 4 for Fallston, which is the Evan. He's been playing both ways. We've been calling his name on offense, defense, special teams. So you can see him. He knows he's trying to stretch himself out. Hopefully he can take a couple steps forward. It looks like he doesn't want to chance it, or he's stretching it out as best he can on his own.
So you talked about this off camera, Greg. Tell me what your opinion is again on 2-way players and when you pull off the you know, you pull off the throttle a little bit here. I'm assuming it's the wipeouts and the games you don't feel like you need them to go both ways on.
I think if you have two-way players, you always start them.
Right.
I think that's a definite. And then after that, you go by the feel of the game. And you know, in this game, it's 14-7 as long as everybody's healthy. And, you know, you never want to push somebody, but as long as they're healthy, I think you're going to stay with your game plan. But you do try. We tried to spell players when we were coaching at Drop Time. We would try to rotate some players in and out. Some years you're fortunate. Some years we had a whole offensive line and a whole defensive line. Some years we had 4 of the 5 go both ways. So it all depends on your roster and your abilities. I think a lot of skill positions they try not to play as much anymore on both sides.
So we got a rollout by the quarterback, little pass out to the side here, and put his head down there at the end of the play there.
Number 52 really made a good play for Fallston. That's Finn Rabasti. That's the first time I think we've called Finn's name tonight, but he had a good play coming over.
Well, Evan Freeney really focused on catching the ball, turned upfield. He put his head down a little bit there to gain a couple extra yards. So I was going to tell you, Greg, the funny thing about the two-way players is in all these dramatic football movies, the coordinator comes up to the head coach and says, I need so-and-so to play on the other side of the ball if we're going to win this game.
I did that before, that's for sure.
Yeah, I remember one of them. I think I was in the stands watching. That was
that was a broken play.
Yeah, definitely a broken play, and he's heading upfield. They're going to call a penalty probably on the return.
The number 30.
Or was it the tackle?
Number 34 with the interception for Fallston there.
Yeah, that was Aiden Frodell again.
Right.
And that was a big interception.
He's the one that tipped the ball at the last interception. I think there was a miscommunication. If you notice right now, coach is talking. If you watch on this replay, the receiver stopped. He didn't run the rest of his pattern. So I think there definitely was definitely a miscommunication, and that happens.
So what was the penalty again, Greg?
It looked like it was a block in the back on the return.
On the return. So you get the interception, and then you have to go back 5 to 10 yards.
Right. But again, it's another big play for Fallston's defense. That's their 3rd turnover. So they have kept themselves in the game with turnovers. Now you need to try to convert that, and that's what you want to do.
So how many times have we watched our favorite pro and college teams maybe have 100, 200 yards more on offense than the other team and lose?
Yeah.
And it's because of the turnovers.
Right.
So, I mean, that's 3 now. 3 big ones. Bel Air was definitely on the move there for another score.
And this penalty here, because it was outside of the 20, they moved it to full 15, so now that backs them up. Now, you do have the ball. That's the good thing, but you're inside your own 10, so you do have to be careful here. You don't want to turn it right back over to Bel Air.
So this makes you maybe have to be a little more conservative.
They were running the ball well, Ray, last series, so it might be just something they continue with.
Well, they keep doing this.
There's the handoff.
2 options. Now, he has some room there.
There you go.
So I'll tell you what.
That's number 4. He came back from his cramps.
Yeah, he's
there he's down again. These poor kids. I mean, they're tough. They are tough kids. They're in there playing, but they're giving everything they have. But you can tell.
Yeah, Evans really fighting hard for his team right now.
He is. And that's a great leadership. The kids all see that. They know that. That was a big run. They got them outside of they're at the 20-yard line almost now, 1st down. So Fallston is, I give Coach Robinson some credit. He must have seen something with his staff to adjust it, but they're really changing their game plan coming at the Bobcats right now.
Well, I give him credit for that and for the fact that he has said he loves to spread it out and pass.
Right.
So he's going against his own love for what he does. So
too many things after the whistle.
Another one.
Yeah.
So he's.
I think the coaches both sides need to really kind of get their kids together so we don't have any more of these. But I think they're going to see 2 unsportsmanlike conducts.
On the same team or 1 on each, you think?
I think this might be 1 on each.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, it's ironic we say this, Greg, because we were just saying how the teams were showing sportsmanship 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
helping each other up and patting each other on the shoulder pad after a play. But hey, it's a heated game, and we've seen it in every sport.
And we will say it again, they're competitors, they know each other, they're kids, they're teenagers, they're playing their hearts out, and they're learning to be good young men, and that's what these coaches, both coaches, are doing, and hopefully they'll get this straightened out. And you know, you don't want to hurt either side with these calls.
Well, I like to say to people that haven't played the game or any games, they're like, wow, how can they do that? And it must be not a great person. No, I've seen Eagle Scouts lose their temper, in the heat of the moment. My own son, my own kids I would call nephews and nieces, who are wonderful people. I've seen them get pretty heated, and you're right. The coach's job, the captain's job.
Here's the first mark off, so we're going to see a 15. That's 15.
I'm thinking they're both against Bel Air now.
They are. They're both. He's marching 30 yards.
Because normally you wouldn't mark them off. If it was offsetting, they would just announce that.
Right.
So penalties, turnovers have been key in this game.
Well, I like this right now what the referee is doing. Notice he's bringing both teams in. He's talking to them right now about, hey, let's end this. We don't need any more unsportsmanlike conduct. We want to play this as a clean game. So, you know, keep yourself under control, and you don't want to have to throw somebody out either.
So now you have the ball at the 50-yard line, and, well, they're actually passing. I was getting ready to say, I think they could, oh my, I think it was just out of bounds.
He was, but I think he was trying to throw it away, but he didn't throw it away far enough.
Yeah. Coach is going to tell him, can you like hit the press box next time with that, or one of the sponsor signs on the fence? Now I was a little surprised by that call, Greg, because the running game had been working so well, but I guess you have to keep them honest. You just can't just run.
I think so. I think that's what he was trying to do, but now it does put you at 2nd and 10, so let's see what the call is now.
So let's see if we got Roberts or Foster in there. Looks like Foster again.
There's a handoff to
nice
number
spin
4.
Move. Well, he got that on his own, Greg.
He did.
I mean, he dragged 2 tacklers with him.
Number 35 and number 1 both got a hand on him, but he kept running hard.
So that was Evan Alcidi again, and he's becoming a little bit of a wrecking ball here right now, fighting through cramps while he's doing it. And he just got to it. So what people need to know there was, you know, he kind
quarterback keeper.
Oh, wow. He needs 1 block here to get some yardage here. 4-yard run. I think that was number 55 who brought him down.
Well, JT was there, number 1, too.
Okay. So that was
he did pick up
Trenton
4 yards.
Diebold. Yeah, he did. He got ahead of his own teammates there. He's pretty quick. So let's see if they're going to just do ground and pound right now and try to keep Bel Air off the field and keep running the ball. Another run against the grain there. Looks like he got the other 6 there.
That was number 35 and number 1 on the stop. So again, that was Nathan Calamita. You're starting to see more tackles here 4 or 5 yards downfield.
Yeah, it's definitely second level. And,
right.
You know, what you got to think here is
I think that may be a timeout from Bel Air trying to get themselves situated here, because Fallston's definitely had the upper hand this whole second half.
Yeah, they have. And what do you do here, Greg? Because you have the option of the quarterback keeping the ball and going one way, and the running back taking the ball and going the other way. Do you have what they call like a spy sometime on the defense, that this linebacker is responsible for the running back, and then the rest of you react?
You do, but I don't think that's something you just put in now. I think that with Coach Siegel, who calls the defense, I think that's what he's adjusting to right now. He might be shading his tackles on the defensive line more. He may be, he might go to a 4-4. He could do something like that, but I don't think they're going to be able to just put one person spying that quarterback right now. And I think they're going to try to put, I see number 90 coming in, Philip Johnson. I also see number 51, Rowan Edwards. So I'm seeing a couple of different people on that defensive line. So maybe he's trying to do a little more to take the running lanes away right now as he's doing it. So hopefully with the timeout, that's what he did to try to make things a little bit of adjustments.
I was going to say, we've seen Fallston adjust to Bel Air. Now let's see if Bel Air can do it the other way around. Nice burst of speed.
Nice play there by number 1 again for defense for JT.
Yeah, he's getting in there.
He's easily double-digit solo tackles tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He's rolling out here.
He's going to have to get rid of that ball. That's going to be a jump ball. Okay, incomplete. Could have been a pick there, Greg. So, again, not second guessing, but I was a little surprised with the call since the running's been working pretty well 2 out of every 3 plays. So now they've got 3rd and 9.
I see the officials congregating, so I'm not sure. I didn't see a flag. Did you, Ray?
No, but I actually thought there could have almost been one. But, you know, I don't know how you call that now.
Something, they're talking about something, the officials. I see them, the 2 of them. I don't think it was in the defensive secondary because they both jumped for the ball at the same time. So I think that was okay.
So
let's see what the official says.
I'm going to go on record as saying I think Fallston's in 4-down territory.
Yes.
They've got 1:30 left in the 3rd quarter and they're down a score, but they've been stopping Bel Air on defense.
Called holding on Bel Air.
Wow.
So that's another 1st down for Fallston as a result of a penalty. So we've had over 45 yards in penalties this drive.
Yes. I would say that they're nearing 75 to 100 yards of penalties for the game.
I think that's a safe bet.
And then, you know, again, first game. Draw play, gets 2 to 4 out of that.
Number 55 from Bel Air, that is Trenton Deeple who made the tackle there.
Yeah. Looked like that was our quarterback doing a draw play there.
Yes, didn't get much, but keeping everybody honest on the inside.
Well, you know what? What do they call it? 4 yards in a cloud of dust. It'll get you there. I'm showing my age here, Coach. That was a great draw.
Nice cutback.
He should be in.
Touchdown. Nice cutback by number 1.
So that's that's one of our 2 quarterbacks, Don Foster again. And you know what? I'm glad he was in the end zone enough before he held that ball up in celebration. I think Coach is going to say, hold that ball a little closer. So let's see here.
You need to give a lot of credit to is that offensive line. Look at the offensive line. They're blocking downfield. They had their helmet on a man 5, 7, 9 yards downfield. They did a great job, the offensive line, on that play.
So
big extra point to tie the game. Yep.
It's in there.
Right through.
So with 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter, folks, we have a 14-14 game here. 2 crosstown rivals. And when I say crosstown rivals, Greg, these 2 schools, they go at it in a lot of sports.
Oh, yes.
You know,
soccer.
I'm a swim person. They both have great swim programs.
Right.
But
lacrosse.
What program don't these 2 schools have something good in? That's very 2 successful teams.
You're right.
Schools. I was fortunate enough to coach the track and field team and the swim team years ago at Bel Air High School, and you were the principal there for how many years?
12 years.
12 years? Yeah. Beautiful school. Very jealous when I saw that school. You know,
I was very lucky to have that opportunity to be there. Barbara Canavan was the superintendent-along, Dr. Bolson, who's there now, still gave me a great opportunity. I never can thank them both enough for that.
Yeah, it's when I called a couple games in their stadium, I felt like I was in a college stadium. Backing up for that return.
Number 13.
Looks like number
that
13.
Is DJ Collier.
Yeah. Boy, he's fighting for every yard, isn't he?
Yes. A lot of Fallston Cougars there on the tackle. Fallston's really into this game. They're excited. Number 19 on the tackle which is Kevin Tusing Jr. That's the first time I think we've called Kevin's name tonight. So you're seeing a lot of different Cougars that are making plays now, and brand new ball game, 14-14.
Well, I see Cooper Savell come out of that scrum too, and I've seen him in on a lot of group tackles too. And I said it before, I love to see the team hustle. Coach tells you just because one person's there doesn't mean you stop.
Yep.
You know, we saw one touchdown resulted from a player breaking a tackle, so you do need that second, third, fourth person in there whenever possible. Some shifty players on both sides of the ball here. So it looks like we got about a 4 or 5 yard run up the middle here by number 4 again on Bel Air, and or was it 1?
Number 1.
Number 1. My bad. That was JT again, and he's the answer to Evan Alcidi. JT is getting his name called on both sides of the ball.
Just amazing how much the momentum switched since that interception.
Yeah. Well, I said it before. Can Bel Air get an answer? That's a dangerous pass. I think we have
they gave him the interception by number 34. That's him again, number 34.
Yeah, that's Aiden Fidel again.
That's his second interception and a big tip. He's really made a difference.
Yeah, Aiden is making a big impact on this game. We got the replay here. Let's see how far down to the ground he gets. He got his arms.
He got his arms under there.
He did.
Looks like, yep. What a great play. He's having a great game for him.
Can we get this to ESPN top 10 plays here? Come on. That's a keeper there. So what people don't understand about the game, Greg,
big run up the middle.
Yeah, is that's not only a skill play. Let's see who that was. Number 4 again for us, Alcidi.
That's the end of the quarter right now.
That wasn't just a skill play. That was a hustle play.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody's going to lay out like that and dive to the ground and get that ball. So we're here at the end of the third quarter, folks, and we have a 14-14 ball game between Fallston Cougars and Bel Air Bobcats. I'm here with Greg Commander, longtime friend and in life and coaching. Greg, first 10 minutes of this game told a different story.
Absolutely, and even in the first half up until the last probably 4 minutes, and then I sound like a broken record, but that turnover in the end zone, again, if it's 21-0 or 17-0, everything's changed. You come out, you score a touchdown, come out, interception, another touchdown, 14-14. Somebody needs to step up for Bel Air to be the big spark like number 34 has been for Fallston. He's played an outstanding game for Fallston. And so you need someone now from Bel Air. You have to see who's going to make the play on defense and try to turn the tide a little bit for the Bobcats. But Fallston's really doing a great job. They own the whole third quarter.
So am I counting 3 or 4 big turnovers for Fallston? I know we had the interception in the end zone, this interception. I thought we had a third interception.
We did, and we also had the fumble.
Yep. Yes. So take away these 4 turnovers, it's a totally different ball game. But right now, Greg, I want to say that Bel Air is a little bit stunned. So it's hard to turn your emotions around and get back to doing what you can do when you're stunned, but that's what they kind of have to do. They have to make a stop right now.
Yep.
That was a good swarm tackle there.
I think number 2, and you also saw number 35 again, which is Nathan Calamita. He's been on a lot of different tackles, but again, if you notice, where was his tackle? First half, it was behind the line of scrimmage. Now it's another first down. You have 2 players cramping up for Bel Air, 1 for Fallston. It's taking a toll out there. They're trying their best, but
yeah, this game could come down to one crucial play. Right now, you might see a little bit of how your depth comes into play, because we've seen 4 or 5 players on each team that have snuck in and out of the lineup. Right. And as their teammates are cramping up, what happens if one of these 2 or 3 crucial players on each team can't finish out the fourth quarter.
Well, I think that goes back to what you were saying too about, do you have a two-person system or do you have one, you know? But a lot of these players are just, it's tough. And, you know, when you practice too, you try to practice game situations, but this is a game and it's different. And, you know, kids were in school all day today. Did they hydrate or not? You know, have they been taking care of themselves? And it's not anybody's fault. Everybody has to understand. It's not anybody's fault. It's just your body reacting to the situation. And you hope in the end everybody stays healthy and, you know, to get through the game. But it's a great game. 14-14 on Friday night, first one in the year.
Yeah, I think both of these teams, regardless of who wins, have a lot of potential. I think we had probably about a 5-yard run here. I'm trying to see who that runner was.
It was number 4.
4 again, Alcide. He's.
I noticed that Rowan Edwards and along with Trenton Deepold made the tackle there. So the defensive linemen are making tackles, but that was a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, Fallston has to feel pretty good about it. They can continue to do what they're doing. That was a good hustle tackle from behind there.
Yes.
And I think that, you know, Alcide got the first down, but
that was Michael Graham that came from the other side along with JT.
Yeah, Evan Feeney is.
I'm sorry, no, with Evan.
Yeah, Evan ran all the way around the outside, chased him down behind to get that tackle. Sometimes it does not feel good to tackle somebody from behind and land on their cleats.
All right.
You know.
Another first down for Fallston.
Yeah, they're moving the chains big time here. So nice hesitation move, another first down. And again, it looks like it's Evan Alcide again. I gotta think he's got 100 yards, Greg. I mean, we don't have stats here, but.
Oh, I tell you who you really need to give a lot of accolades to. That's that offensive line.
Yeah.
I don't have all the numbers right in front of me, but they are really coming off the ball. They're moving Bel Air right now, Fallston's offensive line. And
so we have a little sweep here. Let's see if he can get around the corner here. Cut back. He's still got a couple yards out of that, Greg.
Right.
Ball goes out of bounds. But that looked like number 2 that time.
Yes.
So that was one of our receiver, or I would call them slots. Ryan Marini is listed as a slot back.
He picked up just enough for the first down, too.
So you asked about that, Greg. I'll tell you right now that our guards are Cole Shea and Saras Gill. Our center is Robbie Chilcote. We've got Wyatt Schreibinger and Landon Mills on the tackles. So we had a fake play there. He's got some room. Can he get to the pylon? And
yes,
he does.
Number 1.
That's our quarterback, Don Foster. So now Fallston has come back from 14-0 down to take the lead 21 to
20.
20. Yep, I'm counting my chickens before they're hatched there, Greg.
I don't think a lot of people noticed that, but the quarterback on that play really, he made the play. Watch the catch on the replay.
Yeah,
it's
it was
a little bit high.
Yeah.
So he caught it and made the read and then went to the outside.
Good catch, Greg, because I noticed it in the moment and I thought, ooh, that could have been dangerous.
Yeah, if that goes a little bit higher, it bounces back to the 30.
If that goes the other over his head, you could have a defensive player picking that up and running 90 yards, 80 yards. So great catch, great run. Let's see if our kicker can put this in here.
Good hold by the holder. Nice pickup by the holder. That's number 1 for them for Fallston on the hold. And that's
our quarterback.
That's the quarterback.
Two big plays in a row.
You want someone that can catch the ball, right? That's why you have them holding the ball.
Yeah, you see a lot of quarterbacks holding for teams. It's usually teams backup quarterback.
Or a receiver, someone that you know can handle that ball, and that shows you right there what happened. Wow, so now the question is, what does Bel Air do?
Yeah, they've got 9 minutes and 36 seconds to figure it out, Greg. I mean, I trust the coaches and the players, but I will tell you, whatever Fallston has done, it's one thing for Fallston to figure it out offensively, which they've done. But I didn't know that they could shut down Bel Air like they have defensively. Between the turnovers and some good tackling, they've really come on.
I agree. I didn't know if Fallston was going to be able to get enough points, but I didn't think they were going to keep Bel Air at 14.
Yeah.
And so now it's to see what Bel Air's made out of right now.
So we got 3 players back for the kick return. So they really have to put it to at least one of them. So
that's Collier on the return.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a little room. Oh, he needed one man to beat, but he's still got a ball to the 45-yard line. Looks like he caught it around the 10.
That's maybe the big thing that Bel Air needed, but that was a great return, blocking, everything was in place, and big difference when you catch the ball in the air. You get that momentum going, and you know he returned that from his 5-yard line, so he had a 40-yard return. You
could tell how much he wanted that.
Yes.
Because he had a teammate near him who could have also caught it, and he jumped right in front of that ball and said, "Mine." Well, now we've got. They say the game of momentum is a big factor, Greg, and Bel Air didn't have much to celebrate for the last quarter and a half.
Yeah.
And here they are. They needed to pick me up, and they got it. So let's see if they can answer and take this ball downfield and tie it up. So they did a delayed draw, but wow, good gang tackle.
That was everybody there. That's number, for Fallston, you had number 88 and 55 for Fallston's defense.
So you got Oliver Ruckert, one of the Ruckert boys.
Right, and number 55, which is Landon Mills.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of tackles today.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, is he also on offense or not, number 55?
So
Landon Mills, he's also plays on the offensive line, so he's one of those two-way players.
Yes.
And he's still out there going strong. And they've run behind him on certain plays, so he's doing his job both ways.
So they need something positive to happen here, and Fallston's gang tackling.
Right on cue, there's 55 and also number 88, both the same tackles as before.
So the middle's not working right now, Greg.
Not right now.
I think they might need to look for something outside.
This is a very interesting play right here, Ray, because it's 3rd down and 10. All the momentum's in Fallston. If you don't get a first down, what do you do on 4th down?
Right, because first of all, Fallston has not been stopped for 3 possessions now.
Correct.
So the only time Fallston has stopped himself the last couple quarters is when they stopped themselves. So if they can continue to run like that, Bel Air can't give the ball back without tying this game up. So there's that outside pass again. Many people over there. Great decision to cut it back against the grain. But
what a play.
They strung it out.
There's your man again, number 34. I know we don't pick players of the game, but I'm picking number 34 for Fallston right now.
Aiden Fodell has been all over the place. But you know what, Greg? That was a group effort. Because he cut that ball back, and player after player across that 50-yard line strung him out further and further until Aiden can get in there and clean it up.
Yeah, he did a great job. But, I mean, really, a tip pass, 2 interceptions, numerous tackles. He's playing a great game in his cornerback position. This is a big play. 4th and 9 with 7 minutes to go. That's a big game, big part of the game.
Incomplete. Let's see if there's any flags, because the receiver did get knocked down a little bit.
I think he slipped as he went down.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
But let's see where he was, Greg. He was not.
They moved the chain, so I don't know if he was close enough or not.
No, he wasn't even a first down. If he caught that ball, he would have been 3 yards short.
Right.
So I give credit to the defensive line pressure there, because they made the quarterback throw on the run and pick a receiver who wasn't in first down territory.
If I'm not mistaken, again, it may have been number 55, whose name we were just calling again on offense and defense, Landon. He's having a great game in the second half. I think all of the all the Cougars are.
So now you have a potential put-away drive here. Fallston wants to use the clock here. They need to just get first downs. There's that high snap again you got to worry about.
There's a
2-yard gain.
Right. You know, defensively, you have Matthew Valenti that made the stop there, along with Rowan Edwards. So they did stop that in the middle, which is big. Because you're right. If you get 2 first downs, you're probably below 4 minutes.
So is there a 4-minute warning or a 2-minute warning? I thought it was 4 minute warning. So You got to get this ball. Now, I'm going to tell you something, a little side note. That's the second or third high snap we've seen.
Yes.
So you don't want to have a problem with that. Now, you do have a 3-yard run, 2 or 3 yard run there. Great job on the defense. Yep. I see 56 and 1 in on that.
That's Owen Riley again and our JT. So we just said this before. So now with Bel Air with the ball. So now it's 3rd down and maybe 6.
Yeah.
So again, Fallston, they don't get the first down. Do they punt it? And knowing that their defense is playing really, really well the second half?
I'm going to say it depends on whether it's a 4-yard or a 1-yard fourth.
Right. You're probably right on that.
Because if it's a 1-yard, I think they have a confidence to get the 1 yard. But you can't, if you don't get this first down, you kind of like to pin them in. That's a nice little pitch back. And then they're going to be in that area that you and I just said they had to make a tough decision.
So now we're sitting at a 4th and 3.
I think we have a timeout called maybe by Bel Air.
I'm not sure who called a timeout, but I noticed they're both coming off. It's not the 4-minute warning unless the clock's off.
No, it's definitely has to be a timeout because they're congregating around the coach. And I think it's a very smart timeout because you don't want to give them
4th and 3.
You want to make them make a decision right now at the line of scrimmage. Now you're also telling your team, if Fallston would have gone up to the line of scrimmage, if the coach has a signal that says, we're not snapping the ball here. Did you have a signal for that?
We did. We would have something where we were going to try to pull him off. Right. But the coach knows what he was going to do. The coach knew if he was going to go for it or not. Do you want to take the chance of drawing him off sides or not? We really haven't seen either quarterbacks trying to do that tonight.
So now you're Bel Air. You tell your team, nobody jumps.
Watch that ball. Don't jump. I know it's interesting. We haven't seen from Fallston in a while. We haven't seen him throw the ball.
I know.
And I wonder if Bel Air's thinking the same thing. But now, 3 yards to get another first down and take another 2 or 3 minutes off the clock.
Well, this is the play of the game so far, Greg.
I'm running behind 55. That's what I know. He's been doing a great job the second half.
So I'm really curious to see if they actually do this. They did. And
first down.
He's got it.
First down.
So Bel Air already burned one of their timeouts.
Notice, 58 did a great job for Fallston on the offensive line, and that was
Cole
Shea. He did a great job, and they did come to the side where number 55 is, and also number 54, the other offensive lineman there, which is Gill. So they found something. I mean, Coach did a great job finding something at halftime. For someone that probably threw the ball 75% in the first half, I think they've thrown the ball, 3 or 4 times maybe the second half. They really are sticking to their ground game.
So we don't have a play clock here, but the clock is definitely Fallston's friend, and it's not Bel Air's friend right now.
Yep.
So you're just doing pound the ball down the middle here, and that was our same guy,
number 4.
Yeah, Alcide, and
it was tackled by Nathan Calamita again. He has a lot of tackles too.
So right now, you do one more play, you go to the 4-minute warning. It's at worst 3rd down.
Right.
If you do another play after that and you don't get a first down, you're going to be down under 3:30.
Yeah.
And still deciding whether you're going for it on 4th down if it's 4th down. So Fallston has got a really good situation here. Bel Air is going to have not much time left if they get the ball back without giving up a score.
There's a broken play.
That's a broken play, but he's going to do something with it.
Oh, wow. Good play.
He did 2 things there, Greg, really good. And is that Dom, our quarterback?
Number 1, yes.
Yeah, Dom Foster.
Well, the first thing he did is he didn't let it come out of his hands.
Yes, exactly. And then the second thing he did was he turned upfield. He had a little mini lane to the outside, but he stayed inside because he knew I need to stay in bounds, and I don't want to get near that sideline.
We're back to 3rd and 3, or it's 3rd and 2 again, so we'll see what happens.
So was I wrong on the 4-minute warning there?
I think they just give you the 4. It's not an official stop where you get a timeout, though.
Okay. Almost had a flinch there on the defensive line there.
That's nice that they took that. They took it all the way down, then called a timeout. Well, so you're at 3:15.
That's a smart decision because this is I just said we just had our play of the game, and it was because if they got stopped, they would have had a decision to make. But here's our next one, because if they get this first down, if Bel Air's down to 2 timeouts.
Bel Air has 1 timeout.
Down to 1?
Yep.
Okay. Then they can control the clock by just running the ball.
Right now, you should have a coach on the sidelines doing the math for you.
Right.
That wasn't me. So I'm a social studies teacher, but you need to have someone doing your math right now, like 25 seconds, we snap it at 23. 25 seconds, we snap it at 23, and figure out what a picture of the moon coming up there.
Wow,
that's a great picture.
So is
this
still,
see it right now.
Is that still our blue moon, or is this?
No, that was the other day. Yeah.
They say that only happens every so often.
Not till 2037.
Wow.
I'm hoping to be around to see it.
I'll be in a wheelchair by then, right?
We might be doing games still if we make it through tonight. All right, big play again.
Yeah, this is, I think they go behind your lineman you talk about here, but you don't want any more of those snaps way behind the ball again. So we have a sweep and see if Bel Air can string this out.
It's going to be
close.
Yeah, they did string it out, number 1 and number 6 for Bel Air. You had JT and you also had Charles Hammond there, but this is going to be interesting where they put the ball.
He also did something that he really didn't want to do. He went out of bounds.
They did stop the clock. You're right.
So
here comes a measurement, I think.
Okay, Greg, am I allowed to have 3 plays of the game? No? Am I overdoing it?
He gave him the first down. He's saying first down.
So
he's not even measuring it.
First down. You tell me.
You're still going to run your regular offense until you get below 1:30. Then you can start figuring out where you are.
Yeah.
And you know that they still have 1 more timeout, Bel Air. I think Bel Air has to start thinking about how am I going to punch that ball out, because you're running out of options to try to stop them.
And I've seen that on every level where when you're trying to pull the ball out or punch the ball out instead of tackle, sometimes it allows the person with the ball to get 5-6 more yards while you're trying to do it.
Yep.
But it's the risk you might have to take at this point.
I think so too.
So we're going to outside here. Nice hit. Nice hit. That was JT again.
Oh, it was also Rowan Edwards. They both hit him at the same time.
Well, the clock.
But you know what? 23 did a great job. As soon as he got hit, he put both hands around the ball. So he protected that ball from Fallston. And even though he knew that hit was coming, he was able to protect the ball. So that's a good thing there.
So I've seen the offensive player hurry the ball to the official because they want to get the next play started. I don't think a defensive player is allowed to grab the ball and hand it to the official now. In soccer, when you're losing and the team scores a goal, you run the ball back up the midfield for them so they can't stall time. But
notice the quarterback's looking over at the coach, telling him when you're going to snap that ball, since there's not a play clock in high school.
Yeah,
did you see?
I was loving that. Now it looks like they're going to have a nice tackle here. I'd use my timeout now, Greg.
That was Nathan that led the tackle there.
Looks like we got a cramp again.
Did they call the timeout?
So
you're now at third and 9.
Yeah. And I don't think this is a makeable field goal. So I don't know. Yeah, that's a pretty far distance if they don't get first down.
Right now you're talking, that is it's a 43-yard field goal right now. 44-yard field goal.
If you don't get the first down, do you risk kicking a field goal that can be blocked, or do you go for it on 4th down?
To be honest with you, the way the Fallston's defense has played in the second half, I don't think I would have any problem if I was the coach to just keep running the ball. Next 2 plays, we get it, the game's over, we take a knee. If not, then we play defense.
Right, because Bel Air would be forced to pass mostly.
Right. And they're watching the clock over there. That coach is going to tell him when to snap the ball, and there it goes. Keep it in his hands.
Draw. He's not going to have the first down, so we do have decision time here.
So now Bel Air takes their last timeout.
Yeah, they should.
So the ball is at the 25.
Right.
That is a 42-yard field goal if that's an option. I don't know what their kicker's range is, but he has been very, very accurate. But you also, as I said, if you run this, you get the first down, game's over.
Right.
You run this and they stop you, they have to go 75 yards, no timeouts, and your defense has played exceptionally well. I don't think it's I think you're going to see another snap to the quarterback and minimize the handoffs, and you just run and go from there.
Now let me ask you this. Dom is a dual threat. So do you do a rollout play where he has the option to run, but if somebody sneaks down wide open, you dink it to him for the first down?
You're riskier than I am.
No, I say they're wide open. And they're wide open.
I think you get the ball to him and you let him just make his call whether he runs to the inside or runs to the outside. Okay. I think that's what you do. Because that way, no matter what.
Somebody was late coming on the field.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you have a timeout, it might not hurt Fallston to call it. They're going to try the field goal, Ray. This is a 42-yard field goal. I know he's a very talented kicker. He's attended camps. National camps for kicking, so we'll see what this right here, but it's a 42-yarder.
Well, here come the three pieces again: snap, hold, and kick. It's all got to come together.
There it is.
Oh,
no, he pulled it to the left. Yep. So now you have the ball with a minute 36 to go.
Yeah.
No timeouts. Remember, we do stop the clock in high school with the first down. So we'll see what we have left to do here right now.
So you don't have time with the clock when it's running to send people in and out with plays as much now. So do you have a game plan where you're like, these are our 4 plays that we call?
Absolutely. Whenever you have your 2-minute offense, you know which plays you're calling. And, you know, you're probably calling the same formation with different options for the receivers to run. It might be a color. You know, they may call a color with a play. They may do a numbering system, but so we'll see where it is at this point. Couldn't ask for a more exciting game, right?
No,
thanks for inviting me for this. I appreciate it. You're going to guarantee me all the games like this year?
I would love to guarantee you no blowouts, Greg, and dramatic down to the last minute 36. So we have a little throw out to the side.
Get out of bounds. Get out of bounds. There you go.
Well, he did scare me at first point, back inside again, but that was number 11.
Which is Cody Bazemore. Remember, he played really well in the first half on special teams.
Yeah, he hasn't been out there as much on the offense.
I'm trying to see if anybody is still cramping for Bel Air.
Well, I was going to say, this might be that depth thing we talked about.
Right.
But, you know, you couldn't ask for much more for only giving up 6 seconds of the clock.
Right. I think everybody in the sidelines made him come on. They told him, get out of bounds.
I think the coach was ready to tackle him out of bounds for a second there. So another, you can't get tackled.
Oh, there's a good play.
What a play.
First down. That's okay, first down because it stops.
So they got to run up. They got to run up. Now he's calling them in to call the play.
Right.
So
if he gets everybody and he feels he can call it, he'll call the play. If not, he'll spike it. But I think you're okay. You're only going to lose a couple of seconds here.
I think he called the play.
He did.
So now it looks like he's going for a long one. He told people to get out of his way. He's done the same thing. Well, that's a safety valve for them.
It is.
And he cut in the middle of the field, but
he got the first down.
Yeah.
We have 2 Fallston players down right now.
So the clock will stop for that. Now, I hope he didn't roll an ankle or something there, Greg, because
I know the one young gentleman, he got up and he was cramped. He got up, but I didn't see what happened to the player from Fallston that's still down there.
Didn't see who caught that ball and cut back against the green. I do think he made the right decision here because he wasn't going to get to the left sideline.
No.
And there was enough people there, and he did gain another 6 yards.
Well, he did get the first down out of it, that's for sure.
So, Greg, they have only given up.
I can't see unfortunately, we're blocked by the Bel Air players. We can't see. I think it's a cramp because I think the coaches, I don't know if you can see from your vantage point, but I can't.
It might be Alcide.
I don't know.
It looks
but
like
they're definitely stretching them again. They're rubbing that calf.
So if that's if that's 4 that I'm seeing there, barely, I think that's Evan Alcide, and I hope not because he's been there, one of their star players today. Now, Greg, they only gave up 33 seconds of the clock.
Right.
And they've already gained 30
gained 3
yards.
3 first first downs. So, so 3 first downs. Right, 3 first downs. So, if they gained 3 first downs, right, 3 first downs. 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 3 first downs
I'm very impressed with something here. Talking about a quarterback ad-libbing.
Yeah.
He dinked that ball twice. He didn't have what he liked. That player is out on the left flank there as a safety valve.
Yes.
That's what that person's there for, and he's going to it twice. Now, somebody on Fallston's got to take that away from him.
There you go, number 4 and number 4 as he's going off. Bel Air congratulating him. They know everybody's giving everything, and Fallston, he's barely making it to the sidelines, but you know he wants to be back out there for the next play.
Yeah, he's been a great part. Both sides of the ball, he's been a big part of the game.
If we go back and watch the film, he probably was on special teams. We just didn't notice.
Yeah. So here we go again. Can a defensive lineman get to the quarterback? They've almost got to him twice. There's that play again. Oh, he broke a tackle, and he got out of bounds, I think.
Yep.
What a huge play there.
Officials made the call that he got out. Did he get to first, or did he just get out of bounds?
I think he got out of bounds for sure, and they're moving.
Yep, moving the chain. So that's another 10-yard play. So now they're down to the 30-yard line in 46 seconds.
Now, was that JT that made that play?
Yes.
Now, I want to say something here, Greg. This is fatigue because all game, Fallston has been gang tackling. And on that play right there, they didn't gang tackle. The first person had him held up a little bit, and JT, tough.
Yeah.
And he ran himself out of that and got to the sideline. Not only did he get a first down, he stopped the clock.
Yeah, completely.
Huge play.
He got the little valve again. He threw it to him again.
How did he get that out of there?
Now you got to hurry now.
Yeah,
got to hurry now.
Tackled. Uh-oh, he's down too. Somebody in the backfield. So
yeah,
some of these cramps can then become convenient a little bit. So you don't want anybody to be hurt. Cramps are not an injury, folks. They hurt.
Yeah.
And they can become an injury if you do something while you're in a cramp. But this is that depth again, Greg. Like, you got to now pull. If a player goes down for the cramp and they stop the clock, I'm assuming that player has to go out of the game?
Yes.
So now.
And the trainer's coming over, she'll assess. But yes, anytime the play stopped for a player that is down, that you do have to be removed for at least a one-play minimum.
Now, the coaches are allowed to go out there with their team during the timeout, both coaching staffs. So they're now getting some coaching. And what are you telling your team if you're the Fallston coach, Greg?
Keep everything in front of you because there's 37 seconds, but as you keep everything in front of you, you're getting less and less. Apparently, they just moved the chains, if you noticed, Ray, so that's another first down. So now you're inside the 30. So if you're getting 6-8 yards a play, you still have time to run off. If you keep going to the sidelines, you can run 5 more plays. I know people don't think that, but you can. But I also know that something else that hasn't happened, you have a chance to pop something over the middle because there's a lot of people paying attention to the outside. If you're daring and take a shot down the middle, that could be open too. And
Bel Air definitely has the receivers for it.
Well, I see number 1 is out. He just came out because he was cramping, and so we do have 2 of their regulars are in.
You still have Horton out here on the left sideline.
And also number 6, you also have Charles Hammond, too, who's right there off the slot. Clock starting, you got to go.
Ooh, that was a good catch on that snap. Got to throw the ball up the
nice defense.
Yep. Let's see who got their hands
number
up on
88. That's number 88. That is the Oliver, is it the Ruckert?
Yeah, that's Oliver Ruckert.
Yep.
We have 2 Ruckerts on the team. That's okay.
That's 2. Keep your hands up. Make him throw over you. You know, he did a great job.
So they burned 7 seconds.
But a good thing is, take your time, second down, 10 to go. You still remember, you don't have to get the touchdown on this play. If you get 10 yards in the first down, spike it. You're now down inside the 20, and your plays change a little bit more.
So I see in high school the coaches are allowed to walk out there in between plays partway on the field.
Well, they do. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, so let's see if we have a good snap here because I've seen a high one and a low one. And you've got that quick play.
There he goes.
We got to the 20.
And you're only at 23 seconds.
So there's two schools of thought here.
It's a third down and about 3.
Right.
So now you just have to make sure you get that first down on this play. Spike it, and you're still around 16 seconds, and you're inside the 20-yard line. And so, well, right now you're 22.
I'm very impressed with Bel Air's patience. So they've taken the little plays that are given to them, and they've got their 5, 6, 8, 9, 10-yard plays.
Right.
And they've gotten to the sideline 2/3 of the time.
And again, they're going to the short side of the field, so they're feeling very comfortable with that. Don't know if they want to roll to the trip side or not on this play.
You got 3 stacked on the right side there, Greg. So catch it.
There he goes.
And he gets the first down.
Yep, another first down. So he goes down to the.
So we got to see who that is there. Was that 3 or was that 1? 4.
4.
4?
4, which is Horton.
Yeah, that's Horton again. And
so you have 18 seconds now, Ray, and you're at the 12-yard line.
So you can get one more first down, but you're pretty much thinking you got 4 plays to get in the end zone here.
That's what you're thinking. Well, you're thinking you have 18 seconds to get in the end zone. I don't know how many plays that's going to be, but you have 18 seconds.
So when do you tell your defensive players to jam these receivers at the line of scrimmage so they can't get this?
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Because they've been laying off of them to get this play.
And number 34, he's been sneaky. He's made 2 interceptions. Look at him creeping up now. See him?
He caught it again. And he's out of bounds.
At the 2-yard line.
This might be a first down.
Right. So he's at the 2-yard line, and you're down to 12 seconds.
I think you're going to maybe have a measurement here unless they know.
No, they already put the chains down. They just have the down marker down. So it's the ball's at the, I think it's at the 1.5, 2-yard line.
Greg, you have to pass at the 2-yard line because you can't afford to get stopped at the
you don't have enough time with 12 seconds, and that's if the clock is official up there. We think it is, but usually, as you know, you keep it on the field as the official time.
So now you got a really short field.
I think you just get right in his face. I think you got to challenge him right up front and see what happens.
So, yeah, they are right on the line of scrimmage on every receiver now.
There's no chance going behind you.
Now, the right side there, they have a little bit more room.
Knocked down by number 11. That's Isaac Dutcher.
Yeah.
So he made a good play there.
Nice play, but you got to do it again at least 2 more times, gentlemen. So
what a great scene. Look at everybody standing. No one's sitting down. Everybody's standing. Everybody's watching. So it's a great Friday night for this.
Greg, we could have overtime. Are you ready for that, your first game?
What do you think, Ray? You go for 2 or you go for 1? Let's see what happens here first, right?
Yeah, they get in the end zone here. You could have that dramatic play again. This is that tipping the ball availability too, Greg. So if you block one up in the air,
I'd
you
roll
get
out. I think maybe roll them out to the right. You've been going to the left every play. Maybe you roll out to the right.
So we got a timeout on
Fallston.
Fallston has to be.
They're checking to see. I think maybe they saw same thing that I think every play this drive has been to the left side.
Yeah, it has been.
So the question is, do you do that again?
Do you have the blocking to get to the right side to protect him?
That's the other thing.
But you do tell your quarterback, we want to have at least 2 plays. You might even have time for 3.
Yeah.
So you got to tell them.
Put it in the lacrosse goal over there if you don't. Nobody's open.
Yes. Or that might take too long. So like just throw it at your receiver's feet that's not open, and let's live for the next play.
I noticed that Bel Air's formation, when they came out, they had a slot receiver to the left, and then they had number 4, Julian Horton. It would be interesting if they ran like a little rub or a little quick wheel, where they just ran Bazemore off of Horton, or vice versa. But now they put number 6 in the slot over there, Charles Hammond. So it'll be interesting. They can run 6 to the corner, or they can run 11 on the slant. But you notice now they've thrown the ball to Julian Horton the whole drive down, and now notice where he is. He's on the right side.
So I definitely see that happening on 3rd or 4th down, whichever one's the last down. This one will be interesting. So
Or you can wheel run number 1 out of the backfield too. You have that option. Oh, they ran the ball. Nice call by Coach. Nice call. Number 4 for Julian Horton.
Yeah.
Brought him around.
Yeah, that's interesting. So Julian Horton gets the, I would call that an end around sweep or something. And then here you go, Greg.
All right, what are you going to do, Coach? Coach Ray, what are you doing?
I think that they're probably kicking the extra point, but the way they just went downfield.
They better hurry up if they're going to go for that. No, they're going for 2. Look, he's bringing the offense out.
Wow.
They better hurry because the play clock, the ref has already put the ball down, so you better.
Yeah. So this would be a heartbreaker for Fallston after coming back and scoring 21 points.
Yep.
If Bel Air gets this, this will be a real testament of will for Bel Air after all those gut punches that they had to pull this out.
I do want to correct myself. The ref didn't wind the clock, so he just put the ball down, but he didn't wind it. So now they don't have to rush, but we'll see what happens here.
So in about 10 seconds, folks, you're going to see one fan base and team erupt.
Timeout, Fallston. They're going to use their last timeout. They wanted to see what they're doing.
Very, very smart coaching.
If they come out in that same formation, Ray, they overloaded to the right, and they had one-on-one with number 4, the gentleman that just scored, Julian Horton, with one-on-one with the cornerback over here, and I do believe that was number 34. So you would have seen probably the defensive player of the game with the offensive player of the game matched up if they were going to go one-on-one. So let's see what happens now.
So in case this is the last play, Greg, which it probably is, how impressive are you of both teams to show that their armor? I mean, the way they've recovered from adversity.
This is why you and I know this. This is why we love high school sports over anything. These kids, they played, they battled, they're limping, they're tired.
Yep.
You thought the game was over in the first half. You thought the game was over with 1:30 to go. And it's just been amazing, the effort by both. I don't think anybody could be more proud of them. But both of them they've done a great job.
So here we come down to the very last play, folks. 6 seconds ago. Bel Air is down by 1. They're handing it off, and he's in.
He's in. Yep.
So that's not a surprise. JT Owanzi Nana winning 2-point conversion with 6 seconds to go. So the game is not officially over. They have to kick off.
Right.
But wow, what a game. What an amazing game.
Well, it's just so hard to beat Fallston right now. Like you said, they gave everything. They played a near perfect game in the second half, except for the last 1:34, and it's really not their fault. Bel Air made the plays, so it's just been an incredible game to watch. You know how you say it too, a game of 2 halves. Well, definitely 2 halves here, but a really well called drive by Coach Benfield in the last part of the game.
So Greg, you can fair catch a kickoff.
Yes.
So if I'm Fallston and they don't squib it and it comes to me in the air, I'm fair catching it because you're not likely going to return the ball for a touchdown.
Right.
And the clock would run out unless there was a defensive penalty on the kicking team, so to speak. So I'm fair catching it because at least you can throw the ball and hope for a penalty, throw the ball, hope for a penalty, and try to kick the field goal. Very low odds, folks, but I'm just explaining probably the best case scenario in a bad situation.
Right, because even if you return this back 40 yards, you're going to run. You have to return it back if you're going to return it. Right. Because there's no other way.
Clock's going to be out. If there was 26 seconds, I'd say.
There's 15 seconds, I'd say take your chance.
Yes.
So but he kicked it deep, so he's going to put it on him. So looks like here we go.
He did decide to catch it.
Here comes the pitch.
Now we have the pitch game, and then they tackled him.
Yeah, that'll be the game.
Wow. So very tough loss for the local home team and the home fans. But Boy, if we could do instant classics
yes,
for Hartford TV.
Absolutely. I like this gig. I really do. This is a nice Friday night, that's for sure.
Well, you know, I'm talking about like the NFL and the college does the instant classics and they play it like 3 days later and 5 days later and this and that. I think this is it's a gold medal game here. And let's see the nice handshakes here happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect for both these teams. Again, third year in a row, a touchdown or less separates the game. That tells you about them. But these kids, some of them are barely limping across the field. So they've given everything they had. Just a great night for Hartford County sports, and just, as you said, the sportsmanship now and the shaking of the hands. It was a great night for both teams.
So the recap I can best give here, Greg, is Bel Air started with a touchdown by JT Owenanji Nana, and then we had a touchdown by Evan Freeney, and then we had a Dom Foster to getting the first name here, Fritzky, for Fallston to get within 14-7, and then we had the dramatic tip ball and interception in the end zone for Fallston. Then we had a Dom Foster TD run. Let me see if I'm getting. Dom Foster had 2 of them. Oh, I know what it is here. Aiden Friedel interception for that. And then Dom Foster had 2 TDs to get us the lead for Fallston.
Hey, Ray, I want to interrupt you. Just take a look at the monitor. Look at the kids from Bel Air, the 2 kids that are hurt over there at Fallston. Every one of them from Bel Air made sure they went over and shook that young man's hand.
Awesome.
who was hurt. So you really want to talk about the sportsmanship. I just think that was a great class act by the Bobcats.
Excellent. That speaks highly to the coaching staff and what they instill in their people, their players. So then one of our stars of the game here, Craig, JT came back and gets the touchdown and the extra point. So what a game. Final score 22-21 for Bel Air to move to 1-0. Fallston moves to 0-1. But I'm going to say both of these teams are going to be teams to reckon with this year.
Yeah, I think both of them proved that they are in it for the long haul. They worked hard. Both teams rode the roller coaster, so to speak. It was just a great game by both, and they have a lot to be proud of. And I do think, you know, it's hard when you're Hartford County versus Hartford County.
Yes.
So, but then you always say, hey, you know, it's the playoffs down the road. But you can see these teams hopefully thinking about the playoffs. They're in different classifications, so they won't be against each other. So you root for them the rest of the year to move forward and do great things and continue to represent Hartford County. And just a great effort tonight by both teams, both coaches, and I think both administrators and communities have a lot to be proud of for these young men.
Yes, and thank you for the Fallston High School and for all the accommodations that they've given to us. Athletic Director Patrick Mills and Principal Joe Collins. You know, I've seen many players on these teams stand out. We've mentioned their names numerously, so we do not have stats, but you know, Evan Alcidi for Fallston offense and defense, what a game. Many times we've mentioned
number 34 too for Fallston playing defense. What a great game.
Yeah, Aiden Friedel and Max Ruckert, you know, Landon Mills, the whole defensive line. So Greg, it was great having you here.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Look forward to our next 2 games that Greg's calling with me. Thank you to our crew. Great job, cameraman and everyone else. So I'm Ray Hers, and we are here at Fallston High School. Honored to have called a wonderful game. Final score, Bel Air 22 and Fallston 21. Look forward to seeing you at our next telecast. Take care.